Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some time here. I know there's a million places you could be, a lot of GTA content out there, so no doubt there's a lot of things you could be watching. But I appreciate y'all being here, holding me down on this fine Friday. Potato, it's good to see you. Someone over, good to see you. I don't know how to say this name. TRCHISWITI. You got the full spell out, bro. Welcome. Shout out, of course, special shout out to Jaden Walker 420, holding it down in the chat single-handedly, forcing everyone to thumbs up the video, just getting the hype going. Did I say Friday? I did it again. Yo, Goodrich, thank you for calling me out. Thank you for all holding me down on this Thursday. I'm a day ahead of schedule. I did this on our game dev server too. I announced something to them. I was like, for a little milestone motivation here on this fabulous Friday. And I'm like, it's Thursday. I keep thinking it's Friday because normally Fridays are stream day. But we're streaming a day early and also a couple days late. I think we're only doing one stream this week just because tomorrow's my wife's birthday and I have a lot of work to do over the weekend to get ready for a trip I'm going on next week for work-related stoof. So, again, appreciate y'all being here, holding me down on the live stream. Hopalike, good to see you. Baird the Bard, welcome. Zerofication, welcome. What's going on, Mr. Big Daddy Josh? Good to see you as always, my friend Aaron's Pew Pew. What's going on, bro? Synchro, welcome. You're out of the office today, so it is kind of Friday. There we go. Sure. Every day's a Friday with a good mindset. Snipers, welcome. You've been following since the Fallout 4 leak days. Thank you. Definitely an iconic era. Appreciate you, bro. What else we got here? Byron, hello. JXN, hello. Yeah, slop day is a good term. Yeah, we'll just call it slop day for sure. Kyle, welcome. PJ, I hope you change your pants, dude. You're shatting hardcore right now. We don't need that. Josh Dews asks, did you hear about the new head of Xbox said about creations for Bethesda games like Skyrim, Starfield, and Fallout? I have not. Fill your homie in, please. JT Harden, hang on now. We got our first super chat. Let's see if my tools are working. They weren't working last stream. It is working this time. Okay, so I have to open it before OBS is what I learned. JT Harden with our first super chat. Missed you last time, Maddie. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome. Thank you. I appreciate this. Thank you for supporting the streams this way, but also just thanks for being here. Sad you missed the last stream, but don't worry. That's what Maddie Slop is for. Get to catch up real nice and easy. But yeah, fill me in on what I'm assuming you're talking about. Asha Sharma talking about Bethesda creations. Fill me in on that. Oh, Blanky, thank you for the hoodie love. Yeah, I got this from the original Xbox store where they were like doing, I think it was right when Infinite was coming out. I love this hoodie. The only thing that, is it on this hoodie? I'm trying to, hold on, actually, let me bring up OBS. Is it this hoodie or, no, this hoodie's in good shape. Okay, that I'm mixing it up. I got this hoodie for Combat Evolved, and then I got the other hoodie from the Xbox Gear store, which was oh my god, it was the Xbox 20th anniversary one. It had the OG Xbox logo, and my dog Revan chewed it up. I was like, "Are you fucking serious, bro? Like the goated hoodie? Why would you do that?" So it's got like a chewed up drawstring. It's like it looks kind of shitty now. So a little bit of a bummer there, but appreciate the love on this. Glowing Pumpkin said, hey, just caught up with all your GameStop roulette videos. Love them. Thank you. Appreciate you enjoying the suffering. Shout out to the birthday queen. Thank you, Synchro. Yeah, we got a fun day for her planned tomorrow. My wife inspired me to celebrate my own birthday. I used to love it as a kid. And I'm not like one of those people like, oh, I'm old now. I just get like, I don't know, TMI. I get kind of depressed on my birthday usually. My wife does such a good job, though, really pulling me out of it. I think it's just like a day of really big reflection for me. And so I really take inspiration from her. So like she like loves to plan for her birthday and make it like a big celebration. It kind of made me realize like I should try to do the same, but I also kind of suck at celebrating myself if the streams are anything to go by. I fucking roast myself at least like 4 times a stream. But yeah, dude, thank you. I will pass on the birthday wishes. I know she's really excited to celebrate. Spry Philly, thanks for supporting the streams. What's your favorite complete in box DS game? Let me look at my collection. I think I got one in mind, but let me just see. I'm assuming you're talking original DS. Okay. I'm trying to think of one with like good slips and whatnot. Let me see this one. Kind of like Mega Man Star Force Leo. I love the cover art. You know, this is like my childhood. I mean, specifically Battle Network, but this kind of era of Mega Man was my childhood. Like, they always had the anniversary stamps up here. Now we barely get new Mega Man games, which I guess is fair. The manual is like fully illustrated. That's pretty cool. I'm trying to think if I got anything cool. Like, some of these are kind of stock standard. Oh, this one just gets me nostalgic. Pokemon Blue Rescue Team. Mystery Dungeon's like my favorite Pokemon series. That's why I love what's it called so much? Pocopia. This is pretty good. Yeah, this has some really good art in it. That's, to me, what kind of defines the complete in-box experience. Like, this is really good. That's another one. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't have any ones that right now. Oh, wait. Hang on. This is probably my favorite DS game. Right here, baby. Yeah, not even kidding. One of the best side-scrolling beat-em-ups of all time. A lot of the people who make, what is their name? It starts with a P. Oh, my God. Hold on. Developers of Marvel Cosmic Invasion. What is their name again? Tribute. There we go. A lot of ex-Tribute games developers made this, and you can tell because it's so good, and they make still amazing beat-em-ups to this day. The manual for this, I don't remember being too hype. Was it hype? Yeah, it's simple. Nothing crazy. But man, what a great beat 'em up. Really recommend this. Either this version or the GBA version. This version has like flying around on your starship. This would be a pretty good one, but it's still sealed. My brother-in-law gave me this one. Sealed, by the way. I'm like, are you serious? Crazy. Thanks for asking that. I love the DS, dude. With Locke now playing Final Fantasy 14, is it time to go back? Guardian117, thanks for supporting the streams. I want to go back to Final Fantasy 14. The thing that's holding me up, I'm going to be real with you, dude. The thing that really holds me up with Final Fantasy 14 is not the time spent. It's just like how I'm already hawking over my computer constantly. And then I've got to do it again for an MMO. And that's why when I heard, I mean, I know you can play it on Steam Deck, but like the battery life for the Switch 2 is better. When I heard they're going to Switch 2, that kind of got me interested again. So I'm not kidding myself that I'm going to get to it this year. I have just way too much on my backlog that I am like determined to tackle. And then stuff I'm reviewing right now that I can't wait to talk about. So there's just like, I know I don't have time for the MMO, and I don't know if there'll ever be a good time, but like I do need to clear out. I need to look at like basically a month and be like, okay, I'm mostly focusing on 14 here. But I think the Switch 2 will make that easier because I can just pick up, play in bed. Like a little 14 before bed on the Switch 2 sounds amazing. So I'm leaning in that direction. But thank you for your interest in me completing the Final Fantasy 14 Exodus. I will do it. I definitely want to do it. I mean, I wasn't in love with Realm Reborn, but I was starting to see the magic after like 40 hours of just like, okay, like I can see kind of the setup here. It reminds me a lot of Trails. Like Trails is a ton of setup and then just late execution, and it's awesome. Do you think Fable's coming out this year? They keep tweeting every other day. I'm a little iffy on it. I just think it's not because Fable isn't ready. I just think the time it is ready isn't going to synchronize well with the rest of the industry. I don't think you launch it too close, even if you're like before GTA 6, if you launch it too close to GTA 6, like they've held on to it for so long and they are so excited about it. They believe in it so much. Do you wait till right after GTA 6 in December and then everyone's money spent? So you have to wait for everyone to recoup and reinvest. And I feel very confident in like a March 2027 prediction just because it looks like it could use just a little bit more time anyway. Why not? Let people spend their money and kind of reload the chamber. So 4 months from that point, yeah, people will still be playing GTA 6 and buying GTA 6, no doubt about it. But at least by that point, some people will be looking for new experiences, and Fable should be like a top-of-the-line one. Very marketable. So I would love for it to come out this year. Look, like I desperately need a big RPG to kind of attach myself to, like, I have in the past. Like I feel very empty without it. I look at Blood of Dawnwalker and that one's got some like asterisk next to it, you know, just a little bit. Like I'm very excited for it, but there's a little bit of like, you know, the combat looks a little like, but Fable, I mean, I love Fable. I got the history with Fable. Like I got that attachment to it. So I hope something big like that's coming out this year, but I feel like, especially with how well Forza's about to do, you know, got 10s everywhere. I've been playing it a little bit before its launch, and it's good. The reason I didn't do a review for that game, if anyone's wondering, is because I have nothing interesting to add. Like, I don't know how anyone reviewed the game because it's Forza Horizon 5 in Japan. And so, like, there's just nothing new to really, in my opinion, as someone who reviewed 5, I was like, I sincerely have nothing new to say about this. But they already have a Game of the Year contender, and it's going to be a high performer. Probably might give Fable a little breathing room, too. So my prediction is still sometime next year, early next year. And then it'll be a great time for RPG fans because right now that would line up Fable, Exodus, Expanse. I'm set, bro. That'd be sick. Yo, Matty, keep up the amazing content you put out of late. Quick question. What is the song you use for the outro on Matty Slop? It's a bop. Oh, this is awesome that you asked this, dude. I got to pass this on to Emmett if he's not here. Emmett, who is our editor and producer for Matty Slop, he made that song himself. Like, he produced the music for himself. I asked, like, he offered to because he makes great music. And he was just like, would you want me to do something for, like, the outro? And I was like, yeah, let's give it a shot. And he sent it to me. And this was, like, the first take. And I went, yeah, dude, like, fuck yeah, let's do this shit. So that's all him. It's an original song for the channel. And when I thought about it, it's kind of something I want to do for, like, Retro Rebound at some point because those are very, like, episodic. At least that's the pocket I want to get into with that. So thank you for saying this, though. I'm sure he's going to be stoked to read this. Let's see here. I'm kind of skeptical on Dawn Walker as well. Curious to see reviews and all that. I think it will deliver on the things that, like, really make it unique. Like, I think it'll deliver on, like, choice and consequence and writing and character development. I think it'll deliver on, like, its scheduling system. I think the combat will just be the sort of iffy part where it's like, can you, like, because I think of it this way, like, what I just described is basically Vampire. Like, Vampire had all these really interesting pieces, but everyone just, like, freaked the fuck out about the combat being, like, okay. And again, I will never understand that. Vampire still is, like, one of the most overlooked RPGs in my eyes for this last generation. And I would love to have seen a sequel for that. I think it had all the potential to just go even further than it already did. But again, Dawn Walker reminds me a little bit of that, where it's like, it's got all these pieces, but people just see, like, combat, and they just, like, lose their minds a little bit. Jay Luce asked, how is your backlog? It's slowed down a little bit. I tackled it pretty hardcore to open the year, which was a good strategic decision because I knew reviews were coming, and kind of entering the end of March into the beginning of April, I started to focus on stuff. But, like, my recent backlog game I cleared out was Paranormicite, The Seven Mysteries of Hanjo. Really amazing visual novel, like one of my favorite stories. Super highly recommended if you're into that. Like, if you're like me who likes Danganronpa, Zero Escape, I think Paranormicite fits in its own little pocket. And I can't wait to play the sequel that came out earlier this year. So I've been tackling it. It's slowing down this month because this month there's some big reviews on the way. And then June is, like, I have ambitious plans, but June I got a lot of travel. So I know maybe, is anything really coming out in June that I need to be reviewing? Gothic is, but let's see here. We do this once a stream, right? Like, let's look at the June releases, 2026 games. Okay. Let's look at us together, shall we? Let me get OBS over here, and then we'll answer the super chat. I appreciate your support, Chief Adam. Just give me 1 second, sir. Okay, here we are. Did I turn off the picture here? Hang on. There we go. Production. Okay, June. Let's see here. Gothic 1 remakes on the radar. I will be traveling during that time. Star Fox. And, this is the big one for June. Yeah, this is the one I'm eyeing. So basically, Mina the Hollower, I also want to get in on. I mean, that I want to review that for Retro Rebound. But there is a stretch of time, really, between this and this where I'm not super packed. So I might get ambitious and tackle something from the backlog then. July is Black Flag, Backyard Baseball. That's cool. July's looking pretty nice. Asterisk, because, we're not yet in Summer Games Fest territory where they announce stuff for July even. We'll see. But yeah, I'm trying to strategize a little bit more. Like, we have some backlog stuff in the tank that, like, I want to do a Metal Gear Solid 3 retrospective. I finished that earlier in the year, so that'll be up on Retro Rebound sometime. I have it scheduled for July because I still got to do the script for it and whatnot. But I want to play, like, a lot of the old GTA games. I want to play Deus Ex. I want to play Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Like, these are the games that are just chewing at my brain. I just fucking want to play them so badly. So, God, that'd be amazing if I could do this all, but it's just, the industry is so delightfully distracting. I look at this month alone and it's like, Zero Parades. Like, that looks good. I'd be a fraud for playing that though. Again, like, I really want to play, Disco Elysium first. Let's see here. Chief Adam, thank you for your $10 super chat and your patience. How do you think Project Helix will handle backwards compatibility for physical owners? As someone who has a large Series X collection, I feel it would be a bummer if I couldn't bring those over. Actually, I think Jez Corden just put up a, what was it called? What do you call Positron? Hold on. Projects. Okay, here we go. This is probably what, let me get rid of your super chat for a moment here, Chief. This is probably what you're looking for here. Positron, disk to digital program. This is very much early days, but let me control F this. Positron. Codename Positron, from what we can tell, could be some form of disk to digital entitlement program. The details here are incredibly scant right now, and investigations are ongoing. Might not be exactly as it seems right now from the details we received, so take this with a huge pinch of salt and a healthy dose of speculation, if I could fucking read. It would make sense. I thoroughly expect the next-gen Helix PC hybrid to be without a disk drive. Hints I've received about the nature of the box increasingly point to the idea that it would be a fully digital system, similar to today's gaming PCs, laptops, and modern devices. The industry for discs is on its last legs, which just like bullshit. PlayStation itself is now reporting 85% digital ratio. It's still 15%. It's still tons of money to flush away. I would be incredibly surprised if PlayStation 6 and Helix have disk drives by default. That's going to be a really sad day. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, this is the main thing for the takeaway here. If you're worried about this for Helix, I think this is what they're going to do, because a lot of people do have physical libraries dating back to the, well, really, if they go hard with back compat, this dates back to the original Xbox. So there has to be a level of like putting your disc in and getting it transferred over to your account or making it eligible for a download, that sort of thing. So we'll see. I definitely hope, though, that this is something they have figured out, because at the very least, I'd like to be able to buy physical stuff from, say, like Limited Run and transfer it over to my digital system. I guess that's something. I don't know, dude. It fucking sucks, though. It's like it's such bullshit where it's going, because I get most people are buying digital, but part of that's because they've been told that physical is like this very dead thing. And I just think it's like a lot of it's built on lies, that like physical isn't available, that there aren't games fully on disc when they constantly are. Games need to be patched nowadays. Like, these are just lies, and it's just completely crippled the physical games push. It's a shame. It really is. Radic, dude. Hell yeah. Good to see you. The PlayStation nostalgia beast, bro. Anytime I see a tweet pop up from Radic, this dude's got me either laughing or making me feel something. Hypothetical. Sly Cooper 5, but Fallout never gets another game. Would you take that or not, bro? I'm trying to think about what, like, could I live with that? It depends who's making Sly Cooper 5. If Sly Cooper 5 is Sucker Punch, I really am like on wobbly legs here. I'm like, Fallout, man. Like, you're kind of messing with the OG right now. I don't think I can walk away from Fallout forever, because now you're signing me to a life of 76 updates and TV shows. But then again, it feels like Bethesda's on a little decline, though Elder Scrolls 6 could maybe shift things in their favor since it's classic Bethesda. That's how they're describing it now. It's like, okay, that's more what we want from you, but how's your, like, exploration? How's your love for procedural content going? How's your writing going? How's your loading screens going? There's so many questions still, but it's like, okay, step in the baby step, right direction. Meanwhile, Sucker Punch, like Yote, was like really great for a lot of people. I haven't played it yet, but Ghost of Tsushima I loved. Infamous has been great. Sly can finally get out of Egypt. I'm really thinking deep on this, because this is something that just, like, I feel like it happened one day. Like, the world works this way. I got to go with Fallout, I think, ultimately. I just got to, like, there's so much room for that series to grow. Like, Sly Cooper at least had a complete trilogy. Fallout's like, Fallout 3 came out in 2008. Then we got New Vegas in 2010. And then we got 4 in 2015. 76. It's just like, I don't even count 76 a lot of the times. So I'm gonna go with Fallout. I would like to get back to single player Fallout. I do have an incredible Sly Cooper trilogy to look at. Are you going to Summer Games Fest with Cog and Brad? That is the plan. I still got to book my tickets. I have a lot of appointments booked, though, just because I am planning to go. It was just a matter of like figuring out. I have a wedding like the same weekend that I'm already locked in for. So it's like, when am I traveling? What's the overnight flight looking like? So I got to book all of that, and I have to schedule that with my wife because she's going to be at the wedding too. So got to figure all of that out. But that is the plan right now. I basically have to get out there this year. Like, it's one of those things where the certain appointments I have, it's like I have to be there. Not like I'm saying that, oh, woe is me, I have to be there. It's like I got to get out there. What do we got here? Sean, love to watch the VOD on my morning ride to work. Makes the drive through traffic smooth. Beautiful. Beautiful, dude. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, listening. I hope those rides continue to be smooth. I apologize. There was only one stream this week, so not really helping you out too much. But thank you for supporting the streams, guys. This helps a lot. Buck Daddy, love the channel. As a dad of 2 young girls, game time is limited and sporadic for me. Any tips for overcoming analysis paralysis when tackling the backlog? Dude, I was just talking to Locke about this, that there's so much, like, I know everyone's always dooming about games because there's particular heroes in gaming that are just making like really shitty choices, and so it feels bad. But when you really take the broad look at it, like, again, I just showed you the release calendar for May earlier, and it's like there's so much coming out, and they all look good to great, if not amazing. So for analysis paralysis, I'll show you what I do. Let me bring up my favorite tool. Hold on. Let me go to Google Sheets. Okay, where is it? This helps me a lot. Okay, here's what I do, Buck Daddy. All right, I shared this on Retro Rebound. Oh damn, hold on. Let me move my display capture a little bit here. All right, pay attention. So this is what I do. In my currently playing list, good thing I have it cleared out because I accidentally leaked something. That's good. Okay. Anyway, so what I do is, like, let's say, for example, I talked about Zero Parades. Zero Parades is what I'm currently playing. As an example, I'm not actually. Let me use an actual fucking release game so people don't think I got it. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1 is what I'm currently playing. Once I beat that, so then after this, I'll put in my, like, currently what's up next. Pokemon Black. Just looking at my DS collection, my PS2 collection. Anyway, so this is what I'm currently playing. Once I'm done with Budokai, I do this. I copy. I go over here to the games I've played and beaten this year. Paste it over here. I delete this from currently playing. Up next, I just slot this in and I get started. I have a list here that I haven't updated in a while, but just like the games I plan to play this year and just kind of what I'm looking at. And then I can add comments to all of these and just put their release dates. So you can see, like, February 19th. This is out now. April 16th, March 27th. This helps me keep my head on straight for things like reviews as well. And then what helps me a lot is backlog priorities, like what I want to play. So you heard me mention earlier, Deus Ex, Xenoblade Chronicles are here. Replay candidates, these are the things that have just been living rent-free in my head. I just tweeted yesterday about replaying Mass Effect. KOTOR 1's been staring me down for a while now. I used to play that every year. I haven't played it in like 5 years, and I feel really bad about it. And these are the games that I beat. And I mark certain things, like I Platinum New Vegas. And these are all the games I've beat this year. And I count all of them. Like, even though Invincible Versus was like a 1-hour story, for me, it just helps when I'm going through the Game of the Year list. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Invincible Versus. Like, I did really like that. Why did I like it? So just putting in the games I've beaten or played. I try to keep it strictly to games that I've rolled the credits on. So, yeah, let me get rid of this. But, yeah, you feel free to take a screenshot of this, and you can just, like, I'm sure put in like ChatGPT and they'll just bust out the same exact spreadsheet for you. But this is my format. I just do it in Google Sheets, and this just kind of helps me keep track of everything. So hopefully it's helpful for you. What do we got here? Are you interested in games like Vultures, Scavengers of Death? It just came out. RE1 and Parasite Eve vibes. Turn-based horror. I think I just saw this recently. Yeah, it looked really good. Definitely anything that reminds me of, like, I've just realized the PS1 has this, like, I only say just realized because I didn't have a PS1 growing up, so I've been a late adopter to the PS1. But I've played Dino Crisis, I played Metal Gear Solid 1, Mega Man Legends one, obviously a bunch of Final Fantasy games. And I'm like, this has the best library. Like, it's really fucking good. It's like an impossibly good library. There's so much stuff I haven't touched in there yet that's also really good. So yeah, anything that evokes that kind of era is awesome. Love the spreadsheet analysis or spreadsheet. I'm a data analyst, so this is speaking my language. Yeah, Buck Daddy, this will help you a lot. It'll just keep your head on straight so you know what you're playing and you're not like me last year. Last year, I was playing too many games at once. That was the thing that really got me caught up is I would like focus on 4 different things at once, and it just wasn't good. It just got too out of hand. I was just too excited about everything. JHL, thank you for becoming a member for 3 months. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, Maddie, love the channel and the Duke. What are the chances we see an Elder Scrolls 6 before 2028? Todd saying it's a while yet makes me think probably low-ish. I think we'll see it, but I don't think we'll have the game in hand early. Like as in, like I think we'll see a trailer at some point soon, but I don't think we'll actually like be playing this thing until. Could it really line up with the launch of the Helix? I don't think so. Got the live stream going while watching your Gothic take video. Nice, dude. Enjoy that. Yeah, Gothic's awesome so far. I'm very excited to play the full game for that. I think they're doing a lot of stuff that it puts it in this position where it's a game that I already know the traditional. I hate to be the traditional media won't get it, but I would be so surprised if like traditional media was like, yeah, this is going to score high. It's super janky. It's super lovable because of like all the ambitious things it's doing, but I could just see traditional media putting up a fight with it because it doesn't fit like a particular type of mold. Like those European RPGs outside of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 really always seem to struggle with that. So I do worry for Gothic 1 remake on that level. Yeah, Potato, it helps me out a lot because there's just so much content. Like it sounds stupid to say that like, oh, you could like sometimes forget about the things you play. And I don't mean like legit forget like, oh yeah, I played that. But like when you're making your lists or when you're just tracking like what was your favorite stuff throughout the year, like it's just important to have that list there for like your backlog and whatnot as well. And just have it all under consideration of like what were some of your favorite things. It helps you decide what you're also excited for next. It's fun to recall as well. It's also a sense of pride. Like I feel really good completing games. I love finishing games. Like that's what I'm here to do. I love finishing games ever since I was a kid, just like finishing them, not like playing them, finishing them. So yeah, like for me, the spreadsheet has worked really well for my brain. Is the demo representative of the experience? The Gothic remake demo was horrendous in my opinion. No, from what I've seen of the demo or even the playable teaser, I think they kind of dialed in a lot of the issues with the game. So, again, I do think there are going to be some people who are like, it's very janky. It's like, yeah, it definitely is. But it's compared to what they did with the playable teaser, which it went completely away from OG Gothic to like where it is now, it's much more in line to be a faithful remake. What location would you be most excited to see the next Fallout take place in? I think Seattle would be a cool setting. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Marky. I always like to go. I think of this one mod that was in development. It was like Fallout Lone Star. That always stood out in my brain. It's like, that'd be cool. Another mod that stands out in my head, Fallout Miami, would be really cool. Although it feels like we've seen sort of like post-apocalyptic tropical stuff. I'd like to see, I guess, because of today's technology, I know we already did this kind of in Fallout 2, but San Francisco would be really awesome, I think. New Orleans is another one I'm particularly in love with. I think Fallout New Orleans would be like fucking awesome. Trying to think of other places. Those are like the main ones that really that really truly stand out to me. New Orleans though is kind of like my top. I've never even been there, but just I think about games I've played like Mafia 3 and like how captivating that world space can be. I don't know. I feel like there's a cool cultural mix with architectural mix, plus kind of thinking about that in the Fallout way. Like I think it would be an interesting artistic challenge. So I think that'd be awesome. Should I be worried about Lego Batman on Switch 2? I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe given that these previews have been happening on PC and then like you look at the Switch 2 and it's like, I don't know if you're going to fare much better, but I've also heard from when I was reading online, the people who were playing Lego Batman on Xbox via the leaked Walmart codes were like, yeah, it runs really well on console. So it might be optimized well for console and not PC. Should you be worried? If you feel that way, I would just wait for reviews no matter what. What we got here? Someone asked a question about Matty needs the campaign involved hoodie signed by Asha. Yeah, please. I'm begging for it. Someone asked me something. Let's see here. I don't know. Someone asked a good question earlier. I can't find it though. Wow, guys, thank you for supporting the stream. This is super, super awesome, super kind, and super helpful. What about Denver and Fallout? Well, I guess we're gonna. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't think we'll have to wonder about that for too long, Daniel. I think we'll have our answer quite soon. So, look forward to that. Aaron Lime, thank you for your super chat. Thoughts on Square's financials? Square Enix profits are up despite sales being down thanks to reorganizing ports and smaller HD titles. Are they fixing the pipeline by focusing on smaller games this year? I really love this question. Yeah, I was looking at the Square financials, and they're looking to focus on quantity versus quality. It's funny because, like, I see Square doing things, but I feel like I think they're just getting shrunken down because of like Capcom, as in like I look at Square, I'm like, what are you guys doing? Because like if they didn't have the Final Fantasy VII Remake team, which is just like on a whole other level, or the HD 2D games, especially their HD 2D teams have been like really good, whether it was Star Ocean, Octopath 1, 2, 0, Live Alive, all of these games, right? Like now Adventures of Elliot this year, like they're just firing things out. So that team, Dragon Quest, how can I forget? That did really well. So I do worry a little bit because I'm glad they're making money. That's important. But like they're getting away from like, I kind of like the early 2020s era of, K-Dog, you got to watch the show. Yeah. This is not me teasing a game. What was I saying? When it came to Square Enix and their pipeline, yeah, the HD 2D games have been really moving them along. They do pretty well for them. No Kingdom Hearts is a huge problem. I'm just like, the fact that the wait between 3 and 4 is longer than like what we got last time is unfucking thinkable. But just like, I don't know, bro. That's a shit show. Next mainline Final Fantasy has some tough decisions to make. Because Expedition 33 put a lot of pressure on them to go back to turn-based, and a lot of people want classic turn-based Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 9 being a remake being in stasis is really concerning too, because it's like obviously we want to get to Final Fantasy 10 remake, and then that opens up the door for other remakes, like go remake 8. Certainly, I think some people will debate if that needs it or not. I think as someone who's not a fan of 8, it definitely could use that. Otherwise, though, fixing the pipeline by focusing on smaller games, when they say quantity or quality over quantity, it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like they're really banking on their heavy hitters. Like they've really moved into this multi-platform direction. Like I think they're really anticipating Final Fantasy VII, the trilogy finale to be massive for them, and understandably so, because you look at how well it's sold when it went to Switch 2, when it went to Xbox, like, and this is going to be basically the finale of the trilogy, I think, or it could be a 4-part trilogy. Who knows? But they're going multi-plat. They're investing a lot of resources, getting everyone caught up. So now all these games are available everywhere by the end of this year. So I think they're banking on games like that, doing some real heavy lifting. Otherwise, though, I missed like early 2020s Square Enix a little bit. Like obviously you'd get shitty stuff like Foam Wars, but you'd also get like Diofield Chronicles. You'd get a random like Valkyrie game in Elysium, and I get those things weren't doing much for them, but I'm just excited they're doing more HD 2D games. That's what I care most about, because I think that is the most important thing happening right now when it comes to big publishers, is that like Square Enix has found a way to make pixel art games feel AAA and get people involved in that. Good question though, Aaron. Chris the Killer says, World of Darkness is another werewolf game announced. This time it's a top-down platforming. Why is World of Darkness willing to make anything but an RPG? I don't know, dude. I know exactly what you're talking about. I forgot what the name of the game is, but yeah, dude, like it's just I've talked about this a number of times. Like it's actually so funny seeing how this industry operates because it's like the most obvious choices in front of them. They're like, I was talking about it with Locke on Defining Duke this week. He was our guest this week, and he was playing Psychonauts 2, and he's like, yeah, like why did Tim Schafer and his team move on to like Keeper and Kiln? And I'm like, I don't know, because as a fan, I get the balance. Like, okay, we don't want to make Psychonauts forever, but it's also like one of your most popular best-selling things. You kind of need to focus on that stuff. But when you go and make Keeper, which did awful, and then Kiln, which has made no noise whatsoever outside of like the usual people on Twitter, it's like, okay, well, like you got to now go make the popular thing again. So like, why did we go this direction anyway? It's being forced out of you. You had a choice. Now it's going to be forced out of you. So same thing with like this here. It's like, dude, people want RPGs from you. Same thing with Bethesda. It's like, dude, we want like one world space, not these galaxies with loading screens. Like, why do you go in these directions? And I think what we forget is sometimes a lot of these developers are like scientists. They're experimental. And so they just like try things. And you look at Bungie as an example of trying and succeeding, you know, going from Halo, which they were already moving off of, I think, Myth. It's like, oh my God, what's this? Oh, Halo ends up being insane. Then they move on to Destiny. It's like, how could they move on from Halo? Destiny is massive. The only time it's really hurt them is they moved on from Destiny 2 to Marathon. And there you have it. So there's a balance. You know, the experimentation can sometimes work in your favor, but I think sometimes the safer choice and the obvious choice is kind of the most exciting nowadays. Yo, Maddie, did you ever finish Death Stranding 2? I'm playing through it right now. Would love to hear your thoughts. I think it's a huge step up from Death Stranding 1. Ghostly, good to see you, man. I did not finish it yet. No, unfortunately not. I went on a whole Kojima run after that. Like I played some Death Stranding 2. I really liked it, but I just finished Death Stranding 1, moved into 2, then played Metal Gear Solid 2 or 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm just going to play 4, 5. I'm just going to go on this whole Kojima run. So I'll catch up on Death Stranding 2 eventually. But I'm just going on that kind of Kojima run at this point, especially because there's like a new Metal Gear collection coming out later this year. I just want to like talk Metal Gear. I think it's a good time to talk Metal Gear on Retro Rebound. So I want to focus on that. But Death Stranding 2, from what I played, dude, is fucking awesome. It's definitely better than what we got from Death Stranding 1. Although I really like Death Stranding 1. I mean, I appreciate the message in Death Stranding 1 a ton, and especially the timing of which it's delivered was awesome. But Death Stranding 2 is very cognizant of like a video game, of being a video game, I should say, and like just giving the player more fun tools and things to do. So yeah, I definitely think a lot of people called it safe, but I didn't really get that. I was like, this works really well and is way more engaging to me. So I just got to learn more about the story. There were points in the Death Stranding 1, the story was a little, you know, Mario and Princess Peach, like a little too ridiculous. Like sometimes geniuses have fucking terrible ideas, and like that whole sequence of like that, and then also like the boss fight with the health bars. I'm like, I get what you're doing. It's just bad and blatant. And I don't think that makes it good or genius. It is hilarious though. No doubt about it. Just seeing that on a AAA level. Oh, yeah, and Peacekeeper. Yeah, Peacekeeper I got to throw in there as well. So I'm going to be playing a lot of Metal Gear this year in the lead up. So Death Stranding 2 I'm excited to get to, but I'm going to kind of work my way up the ladder there. Palmer's asked, did you get the third semester in P5R on your first run? Beat the game last year, but fire... Oh, my God, I forgot to put on the music. Oh, my God, hold on. I didn't have my headphones on. I was like, what am I forgetting? Hang on. You guys were so cool about it, too. My bad. There you go. Okay. Let me get back to that question here. Did I get to the third semester in P5R in my first run? Beat the game last year, but firing up now to get that since I missed out my first go-around. I did, and you're making a good choice. It's like some of the best media you could ever consume in your lifetime. Like, not to overhype it or anything, but like, I'll put it this way. I was totally happy being a content creator forevermore. Got really good in this life, man. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Or I guess I am sugarcoating it. I am not going to lie about it, I guess is what I would say. I don't know. Anyway, like, really great job. I played that game and I decided in the year of 2020 to just start looking into game development. And it's like, yeah, that's a whole other fucking headache and tons of issues and problem solving. And it's very satisfying. But it's like that experience lit something in me that I never thought would ever come to life because I never really cared about that. I just liked playing things. So, yeah. Did I say Peacekeeper? My bad. I'm tired, guys. I'm tired. But yeah, enjoy the third semester. Super worth it. Yeah, a lot of super chats today. I was like getting ready to transition into the news, but it's like y'all are being super supportive, so thank you. Will my game come out before Persona 6? That's a good question. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Like, it's possible. It's depending on, like, if Atlas is going with P4 Remake first, which looks really early, or if they're going with 6, which has been in development for a while now. It's possible. It's possible. Can't guarantee anything. It's definitely possible, though. Is 26 the year that Forza Horizon 6 gets the game of the year? Raisin, great question. Okay, you're kind of asking the wrong guy, because for me, I'm like, I played it and I went like, yeah, it's Forza Horizon 5 in Japan. They have like a really cool Explore Japan mode. They've got really great content supporting it, surrounding it. Like, it's an awesome video game. It just doesn't move me in a way where I'm like, yeah, nominate that shit. I feel a lot of people will try to nominate it to prove a point. And if they would like to do that, they can go ahead and do so. I am not on that council of people who vote, but personally would not be getting my vote. Could it win Game of the Year? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, like it could. I'm not saying what they did was easy. I just don't think... I'm of like two minds. Like, they worked hard. It's a great game. It's fantastic in its own genre. It's at the top of class. It should be nominated. At the same time, racing games don't move you in the same way other art does. Like, you don't get emotional or you get enjoyment, but like you don't get emotional playing something like a Forza Horizon 6. Is that a quality though? Is that a must? It's like, you know, maybe a little bit, because like that's the game of the year kind of represents like the all-in-one, the all-encompassing, like it did this, and that. You think about previous game of the year winners like a Baldur's Gate 3. You think of Expedition and how like it did this, and that. So that's why I'm a little bit let's see what we got here. So, Matty, do you have any predictions or wishes for games we will see at Summer Games Fest? For me, I'm hoping to see Part 3 for Final Fantasy VII and Code Veronica Remake. Let's see here. KOTOR Remake gameplay reveal. If there is a god. But then again, I think Star Wars Zero Company as well. Those two come to mind. You know, I'd like to see more Resident Evil, but at the same time, it's like we just got Requiem. Would they announce a new Resident Evil game? Is it too early? Especially that's like already charting well with sales. Maybe they hold that for a little bit. Good question. I'll have a video kind of making predictions sometime in early June, I'd say. Speaking of Metal Gear, what do you want from the new Metal Gear team? They're probably going to remake Metal Gear Solid 1, but I'm interested in an original game. A good writer can do anything with that series, I believe. Aaron, great question again. Thank you. Appreciate your super chats as well. Man, this is such a tough question because I feel like the weirdness of Metal Gear is such a defining quality, but I have the hot take, especially in Metal Gear Solid 3, that I think it's when it starts to hurt the series a little bit. Like, Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 are so fucking unbelievably brilliant. 3 is brilliant in its own ways for its time period, but there's stuff that's just kind of like, this is where we got into like dumb fun Kojima is what I call it, where it's like, here's your operator, and they're going to tell you about their feelings on 007 From Russia with Love, and it's like, haha, yeah, like my favorite game characters are talking about movies in the middle of this mission that like has nuclear war stakes. It's just so stupid in not the good ways, you know. There's stupid stuff in both Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 that you know, I think doesn't distract you as heavily. You know, for example, switching your controller port for the Psycho Mantis boss fight, that kind of thing. A new story, though, like, that's the thing. I think it's a guaranteed mountainous climb. You need the blessing. I think just to get the social media part off your back and to let this game breathe and have, like, its absolute highest potential, you need to get Kojima's blessing in some way. Some sort of collaboration, some sort of consulting, some sort of what I would describe, like, even something like a make good. Like, before you do that, I would say, like, Metal Gear Solid 5 getting the actual story content done would be a really good route, because a lot of it's delivered through, like, cassette tapes and whatnot. Major character developments, cutscenes aren't as frequent. Like, I think rounding that out would be a good sort of apology and sort of getting his blessing and then going from there. That would be how I would handle things in a perfect world. Parker, what's going on, bro? Good to see you, man. Yeah, apologies. I told you on social media that I was going to stream the following day. I had meetings yesterday and I got up mad early. I was just fucking shot. And I was like, this is going to be an ass stream. And just like, I had a choice between going live and posting the Gothic video and just how the schedule is working out, plus my wife's birthday. I was like, okay, I have to unfortunately disappoint Parker. Got to go live on a Thursday. Let's see here. We got another super chat. Then we'll get into some news. Some slop. So we putting cloud makeup on for this GTA 6 leak, or is this actual facts backing it up? Also, did you see the news about Trails in the Sky? So happy for Falcom. No, we're not putting on cloud makeup at all. I think what's happening with GTA 6 is like a very legitimate, like, it's like something's actually happening very soon. So we're gonna dive into that in just a moment here. We're gonna start off with the live service story though. As for Trails in the Sky, like, yeah, dude, fucking stoked. I mean, that's what happens when you're a team that budgets really well, you know, like when you budget well, and like this team is very much about like making kits and reusing them over and over. So a lot of what built Trails in the Sky was used to build like games from Falcom like 3-4 games ago, and they're just using that and recycling it. And they're smart because they have these characters that are coming into the story via these later mainline Trails games, and then when they're remaking it, they're like, okay, boop, over here, and let's just recreate the story. And so they get to put a lot of effort into things like the story presentation and whatnot. But also Trails in the Sky had to do well. It's like so many people have wanted to get into Trails, and now they finally can comfortably. Like, instead of looking at it going, where do I start? There's like 12 games here. It's like, oh, you start on PC, play Sky 1 through 3, then play 0 on Azure, which are the older kind of like pixel art style. You can play those on PS4 if you want, on Switch if you want, PS5 now, Switch 2 now. And then you can play all of the Cold Steel games as well, wherever you want, like PC, Switch, PlayStation. No Xbox yet. Think them getting to Xbox would be kind of nice. So it's like there's so many games too. Now that people have an actual starting point and they can not burn themselves out. So I have no doubt they'll remake Sky 1, 2, 3, 0, Azure. And I think they'll even go into Cold Steel 1 and 2. Because once you hit Cold Steel 3, the games look pretty current. So I'm excited for them. They've got a long roadmap ahead of them of great games. They deliver more than really any team in this industry. And so I'm excited to finally play some more Trails Beyond the Horizon. And also, Sky 2 remake this year is going to be fucking lit. I am so pumped for that. All right, let's get let me get the links up, y'all. Let me get the links up here, and let's get these news stories a rolling. I got 2 for you. Unfortunately could not oh, I'm sorry, I have 3. I lied. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of news this week, honestly. Like, Xbox just kind of clammed up, and that was all she wrote. So let me go ahead and get all these links up for us here. And we're going to talk a little bit about live service games and where things are trending. Because right now, live service games are, well, I mean, looks like things might be fading a little bit. We'd love to see that. But there are still some companies hanging on. Let me get OBS here, because I know I moved around some of my presentation. So let me just go ahead and just, okay, that looks good. I guess I could center it a little bit more, but that does look, yeah. Okay, we need to like center to the left a little bit more. like that, right? Because then, Okay, perfect. Okay. Let's do this then. Let me get this up here. Let me pause the music for now. All right. And then I'll shut off my speakers for now. Don't let me forget to turn the music back on when we stop the slop. Okay. Let's get the recording rolling. All right. Meat in chat. I want the meat emojis. We got them there. Use them. Appreciate you all. All right. Time for some real-time slop. By the way, Adam, I got this from the Xbox Gear store in like 2021. All right. Whoa. Whew. Those chickpea salad's coming up on me here. All right, let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the true slop, the thing that everyone always calls slop. This time, live service slop. We've got some updates here, and some companies are course correcting, and I can't lie, as a consumer, very excited about today's news. I'm sure for teams like Sega, it's disappointing, but as a player, I'm very happy with the direction they are headed in based on recent industry trends. I would rather them react accordingly instead of trying to force things out the door and trying to make live service money that doesn't exist, because we're in a state now where single player games are lasting longer and being played more often months after their release compared to live products that are getting taken off the market quickly. And we cannot just continue to live in this day and age where you ship a live product like a multiplayer game of some kind and you have spent 4 years, 5 years, 6 years working on it. It's out and then it's off the market in 3 months. You're like not even recouping long-term and saying at least someone will buy it at some point. Like that's not happening at all. So what brought us here today, and while it's still not a done deal, Sega is canceling their Super game as highlighted here by Video Games Chronicle. Now, the war isn't won yet because we'll talk a little bit about Dead Space 4 and how it probably won't be made because EA is more interested in live service series. So we'll dive into it. The fight still goes on. It's not dead, but it's dying a little bit. Dare I say you can't call it live service, but lived service. Nah? Anyone? How about that? All right. Let's go through the story here on why Sega has canceled the development of its Super game as it pivots away from live service games. Video Games Chronicle writes, Sega has announced the cancellation of its ambitious Super game 5 years after it first mentioned development of the project. In its latest financial results, Sega quietly confirmed the cancellation of Super game in a slide detailing a review of its live service efforts. Due to the weak performance of Sonic Rumble Party and its disappointing 2023 acquisition of Angry Birds creator Rovio, which has seen its sales decline significantly, Sega said it's lowering the priority of free-to-play games in the immediate future. Over 100 developers who are working on the free-to-play titles have already been transferred to full game development teams, focusing on mainstay IPs, according to the company. So yeah, like right now, we know that like Sega's cooking on the Sonic front. They're releasing a Sonic game every year. Sonic movies are doing their things. I like to read here that it doesn't seem like there were layoffs. It's more like you don't lose your job. We're going to actually put you on the things that people want. So that was cool to see talent was maintained despite such a significant cancellation and obviously money lost. 5 years of development on something that turned into nothing usually results in jobs lost. And that probably will eventually happen, but that people have been moved over to mainstay IPs instead of being outright fired, I thought was a good thing to see. They write that planned revivals of classic franchises such as Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Golden Axe, and Streets of Rage remain in production, Sega said. This to me was some of the best news. I was worried that they were going to walk away from that stuff when I saw cancellations, but they see some type of value in reviving these franchises, which is good because it feels like a fever dream when we got that 5-in-1 announcement from Sega where they just showed like Crazy Taxi, they showed Jet Set Radio, Golden Axe, all that stuff. That was so exciting. Like one of my favorite game announcements ever. For me, the real one that I'm excited for though, which I'm happy looks to be seeing the light of day. Of course, I got to pull the game off the shelf here. Where are you now? Right here, the dual pack of Sega GT. Who cares about this? It's what's on the other side, baby. Jet Set Radio Future. I love Jet Set Radio. The main thing that got in the way of Jet Set Radio nowadays is the controls aren't that great. All it needs is like a modern control scheme. And there's proof of that. If anyone's not played Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, this is literally a Jet Set Radio inspired game through and through. It's got the same, like, everyone dancing around and just talking to you and like, yo, yo, yo. Like, it's got that early 2000s angst to it. Same exact art style, but a really good story too. And they're making a new game now. I forgot what it's called, but like that also looks awesome. So I just think Jet Set Radio coming back is awesome. I'm glad they haven't given up on that. But I will say that their pivot away from things like live service is a good sign because it's just not doing well. We'll showcase some examples around the industry of just where things have headed here. For example, Highguard, we're not really far removed from this thing shutting down. Think of it this way. This is the quintessential example of a game that, like I was talking about, it was in development in secret for 4 years is what we heard. They got this team together of like industry experts. They showed up in December, big announcement, final game of the showcase. The world was burning down by January. The game comes out. It does hit close to 100K concurrent players on Steam and falls off dramatically from there to the point where, again, it shuts down March 12th. So all of those millions of dollars spent for a game that lasted, just over 2 months. It lasted longer than Concord, which was 2 weeks. But you can't spend that much money for something that just lives on the market for that long. It brings up a tweet, though, real quick, of something I really liked from the homie Spawnwave. He posted this saying he think it'd be fun to see tacked-on multiplayer make a comeback. I feel like studios would be able to take more chances on ideas if multiplayer was seen more as a bonus in the main attraction. And I just totally agree with this. I know it's a balance. We went through that Xbox 360, PS3 era where multiplayer was forced. So here comes Dead Space 2. Here comes BioShock 2 with their unreasonably fun multiplayer games. Like, that stuff is awesome. Don't get me wrong. But, you don't need that in a Dead Space. You don't need that in a BioShock game. Although, again, they were pretty fun. Don't get it twisted. They were pretty fun. I miss those modes. But the tacked on stuff felt very bonus to the player, but it did put stress on the developer because they wanted to just focus on single player games. We transitioned out of that. Here comes the focus on single player games. Then live service did its thing really with things like Fortnite, where people started to make a shit ton of money year over year. And it's like, we don't have to ship another game. We can just update the same thing. It's very ideal for the company. So I agree with the kind of idea of like going back to more of a focused, tacked on multiplayer development environment where it makes sense. And that games like MAG, which was a massive action game, is what it stood for, a online only game. This was something that you would buy for the multiplayer, knowing it was only multiplayer. And it was a rare thing to get that back then. Nowadays, it feels like so many games are that. What do I mean by that? Here's a great example. I was looking up I typed in live service games in my Google search bar, clicked on the news tab, and I see this from GameSpot. Yet another live service game is shutting down weeks after launch. You have until May to try out this MMO extraction shooter. The live service graveyard just gained another tenant as the developers of The Cube, Save Us, announced that the online extraction shooter will shut down next month, starting May 8th. Describing the end of the game's service as heartbreaking, developer XL Games added in the blog post that full refunds will be issued for all items purchased on Steam. So you're not even keeping the money you make, too, is the other part of this all. This news stings even more because The Cube Save Us has only been out for a few weeks. XL Games did not explain why the game is shutting down, but it's likely due to low player numbers. The Cube Save Us launched on March 18th. Again, had no idea about this game. Peaked at 5,177 players on its first day. After that, the player count dropped quickly with just a few hundred each day. Reviews were negative, which also hurt sales and kept potential players away. It's happening so often that games you've not even heard of are appearing on the market and getting torn off just as quickly. So you have high-profile ones like a Highguard, and then you've got low-profile ones like this. So when I see this news here from Sega that's like, yeah, we're canceling our free-to-play live service efforts and moving more into our reboots and our remakes and that sort of stuff. Like, yeah, dude, low and slow is the name of the game. And I hope that other publishers and developers wake up to it. For example, the worst thing to ever happen to Dead Space is it was published by EA. Here's some of the fights that are still ongoing. This comes from Insider Gaming. Will we ever see a new Dead Space game? In a recent episode of the FRVR podcast, Chuck Beaver I do love that name too. That's a really good point. Sat down to talk about his work on Dead Space. He was a writer and producer on that series back in the day when single player games were the talk of the town. Now it's all about multiplayer live service games, which keep delivering years and years of content and update drops. That's what Beaver alluded to when talking about the potential future of the franchise, a chat that ultimately ended with a sour take. He said that Dead Space 4 would probably wouldn't happen because in today's market, it wouldn't sell enough to recoup the cost of development. It would need to sell over 10 million copies, and that's not likely. He explained, quote, companies now are looking for the next Fortnite. They need something that's a perennial moneymaker, something like a single-player package game with no live service offering that's just a dinosaur fossil in a business model. Now, a lot of publishers are waking up to this, as you can see again with Sega, and realizing, well, no, there's business to be made by serving that consumer who's not looking for the live service shit, or dare I say slop. There was more said here, though, and then we'll dive in further. Beaver admitted that Dead Space had a fair run, pushing the point of becoming a rounded trilogy, even if fans weren't entirely happy with how the story wrapped up. Talking further about the numbers, Beaver said, horror games have a bit of a ceiling, and I think the number back in Frank Gabeau's day was 5 million units to keep Dead Space going. I think the number is like 15 million units now, given the cost of things. So, I don't know, man. I mean, I look at what Silent Hill's doing. Silent Hill F just passed 2 million copies sold, and I think Silent Hill 2 Remake just passed 6 million players, and we knew like a lot of those players were sales because it wasn't on Game Pass or anything for a while. So again, I think survival horror is growing, and you look at Resident Evil, already Requiem has 8 million copies sold. Every main recent Resident Evil game has been a 10 plus million copy seller, and I think Dead Space is up there. So what's happening is you're seeing developers buy into executive shit. They have these sky high expectations of it should be 10 plus million. It's no, it's Dead Space. Five's perfectly fine. Budget accordingly. We want 10 though. We need to make not just money, but lots and lots and lots of money. And so this is the fight that's still ongoing. We see some developers. I think the good news is we see developers and publishers waking up a little bit. That's not to say that Super Game was going to be bad. We'll read a little bit here of the history of Super Game, but it does mean that, again, I think Sega's focusing, as a fan of Sega, on the right things. I don't think of Sega and go multiplayer, live service games, free-to-play games. I think of Sega and I go classic gaming franchises, Sonic, Jet Set Radio. I think of Yakuza now. They're involved in those things. But a little bit of history on Super Game. They write, announced in May 2021, Sega claimed its Super Game project would span multiple AAA titles that cross over Sega's comprehensive range of technologies and go beyond traditional framework of games. In November of 2021, Sega said it would consider investing up to $882 million over 5 years to achieve its Super Game ambitions, which again, here we are, almost 5 years later, just about 5 months shy of that. The company's co-chief operating officer, Shuji Utsumi, provided an update on Super Game in 2023, saying, as the name implies, a Super Game involves the concept of a game that stands head and shoulders above normal games. I encourage stakeholders to look forward to the fruit of our efforts, which include research and development to create a game that builds a whole worldview involving the entire gaming ecosystem, including not only players, but also streamers who stream the game and their viewers. Sega's pivot away from live service games comes amid a volatile market for blockbuster games as a service titles, which has seen notable high-profile flops in recent months. And we have people still looking at Fortnite and Roblox, which is funny this is brought up in the article because we also just saw how Fortnite, Epic Games, laid off a bunch of people working on that. And Fortnite's the top dog. And I don't know. I think that woke a lot of people up going, if they're struggling and having to fire tons of people, so will we. We don't stand a chance. And most times I like to think of it as no, try anyways. But with live service and watching publishers who could be spending all these hundreds of millions of dollars on projects we actually care about, projects that really define gaming and deserve another look, to me, I look at that and think yeah, you're making the right call. We don't need more live service stuff. They also did, it's mentioned here, experience a live service failure in Hyenas. Sega had canceled Hyenas, and this was being developed by Creative Assembly. The Japanese publisher announced in September that it was canceling the multiplayer shooter and some unannounced titles in under development in Europe following at least 6 years of development on the project. So there were all these moments kind of building together. Again, this is 2023, and you see kind of industry trends not letting up. You're seeing people being more willing to support $50 video games. It's, again, the winner goes to the person charging the least, giving the highest quality right now. That's where we're at. There's tons of examples just from last year. Oblivion, Expedition, Mafia. Those games are being highly rewarded by their players. We're seeing core fan bases develop and engage in these types of games heavily. This is like, it's not just people yelling on Twitter. People want this stuff. So again, not cheering for Sega's failure. I love Sega, but am I happy to see them focusing on the right things? Absolutely. I think, again, getting away from live service is good. And I can only hope that there are companies like EA that wake up from that. However, there are companies like Sony who are still pushing. So one thing we covered on the MrMattyPlays channel is that Sony had reported a $765 million impairment loss due to the underperformance of Marathon developer Bungie. In this article, it basically describes that the impairment charge continued to get like marked down further and further. This is not just one $765 million impairment loss that's marked down. These are multiple that are coming together to that total. Basically, what it means is that if they were to go resell Bungie on the market, like they paid, what was it, like $4 billion, $3.6 billion. If they were to go ahead and try to sell them now, it would be for that much less. So they'd be in the $2 billion if they're lucky. And that's already, I think, pushing it because Bungie is kind of a shell of itself. So combining that with the numbers we're seeing for Marathon isn't doing all that hot. It's not a bad video game. I'm not jumping on that kind of wavelength. A lot of people are like, oh, it's because it's fucking terrible. I'm like, no, we're not like in that ballpark here. But for a game that just came out, it's got a dedicated user base. It's just, I don't think enough, like 10,000 players on Steam. And this is important because as Alinea Analytics had shared, the lead platform for Marathon is Steam. So if the leading platform by like a significant margin is 10K right now, 12K we'll give it in 24 hours. That's not great, but people are enjoying it who are playing it. It's just, again, people aren't sticking around. A lot of folks have, again, said it's too hardcore. I don't buy into that. There's plenty of hardcore games to take a look at around our industry that have hung around, done really well. People learn to love. I think you could even throw Arc Raiders in there. I just think the extraction shooter genre is, not one that you could just fill up as in just like tons of competitors, tons of different looks like a battle royale was. I think this is one that's a lot of people are going to fail trying to get into this. But anyway, it's not looking that good, but it's not an awful game. But then we learned that, well, during an investor Q&A here, Sony Chief Financial Officer Lin Tao indicated the company will stick with Marathon in a bid to grow its user base. In our studio business, earnings from Bungie's title portfolio did not reach our expectations, so we downwardly revised our business plan and impaired the full amount of the fixed assets related to Bungie's except for goodwill. Player reception to Marathon is strong, with the game receiving a Metacritic score of 82 and more than 90% of player reviews on Steam being positive. Engagement metrics such as retention also remain at a high level. Going forward, we aim to improve the performance of the game by working to retain highly engaged core users through the introduction of additional content, further improvements in the gameplay experience, and expansion of the user base. So there are companies still pressing, right? EA is still pressing. It's going to suppress projects like a Dead Space 4. PlayStation will continue to press, even though they have Marathon sitting there. We've read reports about Fair Games. Let me bring that one up for you all just to kind of remind you of what Insider Gaming shared about that. Here it is. This is an exclusive report from Tom Henderson just last month. Fair Games struggles to find the fun in latest pre-alpha playtest. Last week, Haven Studios ran another playtest under the codename Espresso for Fair Games, but according to those involved, the game is still struggling to find its fun factor and still has a long way to go in development. As mentioned in a previous report, the game mode that was played was called Cargo Heist, which is essentially an extraction-based experience where you load into a map, loot, break vaults, and then extract. I suppose the only unique thing here is that there's also respawns, which take away from the high-stakes nature of an extraction shooter. Gameplay sent to Insider Gaming on the condition that it not be made public elsewhere shows 4 3-player teams looting a giant mansion using a class-based system. The game somewhat resembles The Division or Call of Duty in its graphical style and movement, with elements of grappling and wall running, but the reveal trailer's overly colorful look seems to have been toned down significantly, adopting a more grounded color palette. Screenshots of the game's playtest Discord show a massive amount of negative player feedback, with players criticizing game-defining features like movement, NPCs, the class system, and more. Others who played the game tell Insider Gaming that they have either played a few games and stopped, or teammates would leave mid-match and not play again because the game felt incomplete or boring. This has been in development since 2021. So despite all this, PlayStation's hanging with Bungie, I think, because it's like the best they've got. They're making the best of a worse situation. They already overinvested. You might as well hang with them. I mean, I don't know why you hang with this and not like with Fair Games in this, but not something like a Blue Point Games, where I feel like the money's a little more obvious there with where fans are trending. But again, it's fading. It's dying. It's just not dead yet. And I don't think it'll ever be permanently dead, because you still have, again, games like Fortnite. I don't think Fortnite's ever going to die per se. If it did, I think it would actually be dead. I think people would be like, well, we have no chance in hell. But a lot of people would also convince themselves there's a void in the market. There's a vacuum. Let us fill the hole. So pause. So yeah, I mean, honestly, like, we'll see where things go here, but I am very happy at the end of this all to kind of go back to where we started, that Sega is making the right choice and that some publishers are waking up. That's all we can really ask for. Chat, I'm going to turn it over to you. Would love to hear from you all on what you're thinking about live service games and where we've sort of headed as an industry. I got the music up and running here. Let me get these files over to Emmett. I'll answer some of the super chats as well. I'm very keen to get some thoughts, though. Live service games, we'll call it. Did you see the new Marathon update post? They're adding a new PvE mode and PvP light mode. No, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Marathon. Let's see what we got. News. I'm getting like a bunch of like Marathon stuff here. Okay, hold on. We'll just click on this Kotaku one. Blog post. Here we go. Okay. We'll take a look here. Launch, learnings, and what's next. The short version. This is from the game director. There's a lot of words ahead, but the gist of it. With the first season Marathon, we created a strong core community. We're embarking on a multi-season journey. We're looking to solve some pain points. Make the game less grindy, more rewarding. Okay. Making improvements to things like UI, UX, matchmaking, endgame meta. Okay. Smoothing out onboarding is interesting. We're going to build out more of the core game, adding new, fun, mind-bending content, new updated zones, runner shells, combatants, weapons, loot, and more. Building systems to make progressing more interesting. We want to build more survival experiences for different moods, like if you want a full sweat or lean back and chill. More pure PvP, PvE, PvP light experiences. Oh, cool. Hold on. I want to learn more about these modes. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to scroll what we've learned. Where we want to go. A better seat-gripping experience with more mind-bending sci-fi. I like how much they wrote here. This is cool. More options to chill and survival experiences. In Season 2, we'll be experimenting with 2 new modes. One at the beginning of the season and one towards the middle/latter half of the season. The experimental mode at the beginning of the season will focus more on PvE with a light touch of PvP. The second experimental mode will be a PvE-only mode that focuses on crews being tasked with completing objectives together and making some progress across matches. We'll continue to run experimental queues beyond these 2 offerings for... Okay. I wish they detailed it a little bit more. But thank you for pointing that out, Radic. That's good to know. And certainly when I see PvE, I'm like, okay, that's interesting to me. I thought Marathon felt good to play. Let me give this file over to Emmett. Where is it? Oh, where are you, Emmett? Where are you? There you are. Okay, cool. All right, let me catch up with you guys now. Sorry about that. Okay, let me start off with the ones I can show on screen. I'll catch up on the ones I missed. I'll say online, Jet Set Radio was probably the most interesting one. Splatoon Turf Wars was probably proof of concept for adapting stuff like tagging to multiplayer. Are you talking about for... Wait, where the... I'm missing something, Ice Cap Lord. You got to connect the... I have like two ideas here, and I'm trying to find the line between them. Can you just write in chat, and I'll follow up with you? I agree that Jet Set Radio is the most interesting one, but for Splatoon Turf Wars, where'd that come from? Fill me in. Mr. Matty lives give me life. Come game hunt in Kentucky. I don't have the heart for hunting. With all due respect to hunters out there, like I know it's necessary for sustenance. I am a meat eater. Pause. But dude, I get pissed off when I see like hunting videos. I get pissed off when I see animals hunting other animals. Like I'm just like, I feel too strongly. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Thank you for the invite though. I appreciate it. Are you solo deving the project or are you hiring? I am not solo deving. I am hiring. Yeah, we're trying to hire as best we can. So within reason. I'm the sole funder of the game. So it's like we've brought some really good talent on recently. It's just like I feel bad, but everyone's very passionate and understanding. But it's like I don't pay typical industry rates. You know, most people on our team are part-time. So it's one of those, it's just like for like someone we hired who used to work in AAA, like he approached me and he was like, I think what you guys are doing as like an indie team could be the future. So yeah, we're hiring, but it's not like I have a website or a post. It's more like I've been organically building the team as best I can. But it's a team effort nonetheless. I could not do what we're doing on my own at all. I am very dependent on the team. Live service is a huge money sink. It's a waste of resources that could go into shorter, cheaper, quicker games to make, and layoffs are bleeding talent from the industry, not just studios. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, simply put, I agree. Like, I get these companies want recurrent revenue, but I feel like you can scope your games to get recurrent revenue. You just have to sell them and market them differently. And I think there is a pathway forward that way. And we're seeing companies like Sega do it. Certainly Capcom has it figured out where they can do it on a high profile level, like remaking things on a big budget level, having those sell really well. And then also doing like new mainline entries like Requiem, like I'm talking RE4, RE Requiem, and just seeing how they're both doing gangbusters. Like, you can figure it out on a big level, and like they're not neglecting things like Mega Man Legacy Collection or Monster Hunter Stories 3 or Pragmata. Like, it's all happening. So it's very possible, and they haven't had to dip into live service really at all. Video game hunting. Oh, yo, that's so funny. That's so funny that my head went to like, you're inviting me to go out hunting in the woods with you, bro. Yo, that's so stupid of me. Yes, that's something that would be awesome. Yeah, the yard sales with the deals, that would be sick, bro. Yeah, you'll catch me out there for sure. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you clarifying that I ain't going to go out there hunting with you. Yeah, we'll hunt for real, for real. Thank you for that. Claw, you cited Alinea, but aren't their stats questionable? They were ridiculed for using review counts in their algorithm, and they have admitted having a fairly high 10% margin of error for PC stats. I don't treat their stats like gospel, to be clear. And maybe I should make that clear. Just moving forward every time I bring them up, because Alinea at least gives us something to look at with some sort of educated estimate. Circana's like next best, of course, because they give us like, here's the ranking of the sales, but most of these companies don't give us hard numbers. Companies like, or businesses like Alinea, Circana would not fucking matter to players at all if companies just shared sales the way Capcom's like 2 million sales. Pragmata, it's like, cool. No one's got to guess. Cool, we can like do the numbers on that real quick. It's so secretive. So this is why Alinea does gain traction, and why I think you got to lean into them a little bit, because it's like it is some type of workable data. It doesn't mean it's gospel, but oftentimes their data is in line, I think, with like where a thing is trending. Like when a thing is highly successful, their data is in line with that. When it's not successful, their data is in line with that. And I think their analysis is good based off said data. But I think treating it like gospel would be a mistake. But they also, in my experience, like reading Reese Elliott's work, is they're pretty clear. These are estimates. They're not exact numbers. But again, I think it's from starving players on information. You want people to stop looking at player counts, start sharing your sales. Pass or fail, start sharing it. You know, I get it hurts, but like otherwise people are going to still keep squandering over player counts, estimates, that sort of stuff. And then the real truth is never found. So fair question here. Thank you for bringing this up, but I'll make it clear moving forward that like they are estimates, but still, again, good data to take a look at, you know. Never exact. Let me catch up on 2 other super chats I missed here. Are you excited for Parasite Mutant? Asked Carl Kratos. I think I know which one this is. Let me just make sure. Is this a... Yeah, okay, yeah, this is the... So funny, they even named it like this. Yeah, I'm excited for this one, of course. This is a very Parasite Eve-inspired game, so I'm excited for that. A lot of Parasite Eve likes popping up. There's actually a cool game I want to show you guys. Let me grab a YouTube clip of this. There's 2 trailers for this one. For those of you who are interested in like this kind of PS1 era. Okay. Let me turn off the music. Hang on. How do I do this shit? I'm still new to this all. Okay. Do this. I'm going to turn up my speakers. I'm going to shut up. I want you guys to see this. This game looks amazing. Looks so good, dude. And then hold on, they have a second trailer. They just posted this 2 weeks ago. This is called 45 Parabellum Bloodhound, by the way. Just fast forwarding through the old trailer. Now it's like in the new stuff. Complete vibe, bro. Yep, so it's coming out either fall or summer, so we'll see. But yeah, that's the game, man, and I think it looks spectacular. So if you're into Parasite Eve likes, it's funny, I haven't even played Parasite Eve, and I'm into Parasite Eve likes, but if you're into that, there's a game for you. Again, it's called 45 Parabellum, or did I get the name? Oh, I think I fucked up the name. 45 Parabellum Bloodhound. I did get it right. That game looks awesome. So just wanted to put that on you guys' radar. I see a lot of people talking about Parasite Eve likes, and there's probably what I think is the best looking one. Looks so good. Just very aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, definitely wishlist it. Super worth it. Really, really cool looking game. And it looks like it's coming out either... That's one that is going to surprise me, as in, like, it's going to come out sometime when I'm playing something else, and I'm going to jump on it right away. It's coming out either summer or fall, and I can't wait either way. We had one other super chat I think I missed here. We answered the question from Carl Kratos. JP asked, do you play one game at a time or do you bounce around? I play one game at a time now. Right as of late, I've been bouncing around just a little bit. But because I had a couple like videos I was making, like we have a sponsored video coming out for Blades of Fire, so I bounced to that. I bounced to Gothic Remake for a little like dipping my toe in the pool for these games. Great games, but like I did a little bouncing this week, a lot more than I'd like to, but this year has been like one game at a time. I've really found that to be the most productive for me. I love starting games. I love the feeling of starting games, and I've just realized that about myself. Like starting a new adventure is so fun. Finishing it sometimes when you have too much going on can be really tough. So that's been something that's really helped me a lot. So thank you for asking that. Let me catch up with the current super chats now. Figs, thank you. Hey Matty, after the reactions of the new Star Fox, what do you think is a good after the reactions to the new Star Fox, what do you think is a good route to next would be? A remake of Assault or Adventures, the fan-made event Horizon, or forget it again? Love your vids. Well, thank you. I appreciate this, dude. For the next Star Fox game, I think you got to do something new. Like I think it depends really. If this new Star Fox remake does well, you could pave a road for like remakes alongside new stuff, but I think that's pretty high investment. There were rumors of someone was writing in chat, there were rumors of an adventure like Star Fox game. If they're doing a standalone Star Fox movie, then like I think you need a new game. But certainly I would not complain about a remake of Assault. I think they've got to, like, I say this as someone who's not even played 64, just seeing how many times they have taken inspiration from 64. It's like, it's not that fucking good. I don't want to hear it. I just already know. Like, it's the same thing I say about, the only game that gets that pass for me is Skyrim. I'm like, you're that good where you can keep re-releasing, and most of us will just laugh about it because it is just that fucking good. But Star Fox, though, I'm like, there's no way we're just doing 64 again. That said, since I haven't played 64, I'm like, well, this is a good place to start. So mission accomplished, but I think you got to do something new. That would be my personal suggestion. I think you got to do something new. A remake of any of the older games would also be sick, but like you've got Rare involved with Adventures, Assault. I don't even know who made Star Fox Assault, so I don't know how easy that would be. But I think Star Fox is like someone just said it in chat. Ice Cap Lord said it. He said, I'd love an open-ended Star Fox with a fully explorable galaxy. It's like you have an established lore, you have ships, you have planets, you have a game that had running and gunning and Assault, like you have starship fighting. Like, dude, make it a fucking ambitious Star Fox space game. That'd be sick. Daddy T again. Keep going after COG. Star Fox 64 remake. When are we getting the Barry Eversley 69 remake? For real, for real. I know, bro. My man's got to release his shit. Release the Barry tapes. Come on. Also, Nintendo, bring back Crystal, you cowards. Yeah, I mean, hey, the fact that Nintendo's even doing it and they're just doing it next month, I don't know what their expectations for Star Fox are, but I'm excited. Like, I think I'm going to pick it up. Just because, like, again, I'm just curious. I've never played 64, so I'm just curious. Why not? But, yeah, I mean, who knows what they're ever going to pull off, right? Like, Nintendo likes to do the unpredictable, so I feel like they would do a new game of Star Fox because that would be, like, the least safe thing. They sort of get that. But, yeah, just, like, again, very expansive Star Fox space exploration game would be sick. Oh, Ice Cap Lord. This is a great topic. Can we talk about Harada joining SNK? I legit thought he was done. But he looked like, just looked at the state of Tekken 8 and dipped. Yeah. What we'll learn here is, like, who was the problem, right? SNK is loaded with money, given their funders. So there's always ethical questions around that. That said, most people, I think, are just here to talk about the games. And I'll just say that I'm sure Harada got offered a fucking substantial bag to start up his own team from scratch. And I think it's exciting, dude. Like, I love... Fighting games need, like, more than the... Maybe I'm thinking too small, but I think of, like, Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat. I'm probably missing some. Dead or Alive, Virtua Fighter... But if you're not tied to an IP, like Marvel Tokon, Dragon Ball Fighters, again, I'm probably thinking too narrow. Grand Blue is another that comes to mind. Grand Blue is pretty popular. I feel, this is just me thinking emotionally, I feel we don't have, like, new upcoming IP for fighting. You got to be tied to something people know. Invincible, Avatar, again, Marvel, Dragon Ball. And I know fighting games thrive off of that, but, like, Mortal Kombat started from, like, you don't know who Mortal Kombat characters are. Tekken started from, you don't know who these characters are. Like, fighting games feel like they demand legacy, and it would be interesting to see if Harada can do something from the ground up and get people rallying around, like, whatever he wants to do next, even though it's maybe not going to lean into existing IP. Oh, Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur. Yep. Forgot about Soul Calibur. How dare I? Thank you. Soul Calibur, you got to forgive me on that one. That is very easy to forget. They have not pushed that over at Bandai at all. Injustice 3 coming up in chat. Injustice is love-hate relationship. I love Injustice 1. Injustice 2 is good, but just... NetherRealm fighters are always hit or miss for me. They make high-quality stuff, no doubt. No doubt about it. But it's always like, what's going to be monetized? What's going to feel good? What's going to be cheesed so easily? They really had a grip on things with Injustice 1 and sort of the challenges for that. They did such good single-player work for so long. Mortal Kombat 9 comes to mind as well. Like, great single-player modes. And then they started to, like, monetize the crypt and whatnot. So, yeah, pardon me for forgetting that. There are some indie fighters as well I'm forgetting. I don't think anyone brought up in chat. I haven't seen it yet. But Rivals of Aether, very Smash-like. Speaking of Smash, I left out Smash. That's another one. Yeah, like platform fighters. So yeah, like I know it's just very legacy dependent. I don't know. I just like to see him bring up like a new 3D fighting game that has all these new characters. That'd be sick. Aaron Roby, thank you for your donation. We appreciate you. Killer Instinct's a good one. Yeah. Okay, chat's got my back here. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm thinking too narrow. I'm thinking too narrow here. Y'all are right. Dude, I am so hungry. I got to start eating before these streams. I'm so hungry right now. Let me get our next story up here, though. Appreciate you guys so much for supporting the streams here, though. This has been a lot of fun today. Just really, really active, good vibes chat. That was the goal. I was always like, I did this because I wanted to build like a good community. I don't care how big it is. I just wanted to build a community and just hang out, be able to get together and have fun and talk gaming news. And that's exactly what we're doing today. And I love just seeing our little community grow. It's awesome. Christian's Game Shelf says, howdy, Matty. Just wanted to say, after asking for advice from you a while ago about starting a retrospective YouTube channel, I finally did it. I've managed to hit almost 100 views on both videos so far. Dude, fuck yeah. That's awesome. Congrats. Like, relish in that stuff, man. Like, it only goes up from there. Like, you just got to keep at it. It's consistency. And if I already explained this to you all, I apologize. But just, like, you know, again, consistency is everything. So just keep at it. Keep thinking of those titles and those thumbnails, because unfortunately, that's what people see first. And so it's got to stand out. Don't bait them. Certainly, I've accidentally baited people before, and they do not like it. They will hate you, and they'll remember it. And they'll make you feel it for multiple videos afterwards. So best of luck, dude. But congrats on the early success. I'm very happy for you. As a Trails fan, do you think I should play Cold Steel first or play Sky and wait for part 2? Yeah, just play Sky and wait for part 2. Because it looks like they're at least remaking the Sky trilogy. From there, you'll be able to take your time playing each Trails game one by one. And then if you really want to sprint, you can play 0 up through Cold Steel 4, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 games. And Reverie. And then Daybreak. You can play the whole rest of the series after that on your PS4, no problem. So you may as well just like take it annualized for now, because you're going to have at least 2 Trails games from Sky. I'm sure next year will be Sky 3. No doubt about it. And then... who knows what they're doing with 0 and Azure, but again, you'll have the runway clear for you there because those will all be on modern platform now. So that's what I would suggest. Don't start with Cold Steel. I start with Cold Steel, but now you have the option to not do that. So your investment can be higher and you can get a real understanding of the foundation of the world. So like, that's what I'd suggest. But starting at Cold Steel 1 isn't the end of the world. I went Cold Steel 1, 2, then back to Sky 1, 2, 3, 0, Azure, then jump to Cold Steel 3, 4, Reverie, Daybreak 1, 2. And then I have to play Horizon this year. So, yeah, I would just say just start from the beginning. It's a long journey, so there's no quick way around it. I agree, Parker. The discourse around that game has been just, like, tiring. I wasn't even involved in it. I didn't review it. I didn't have much interest in reviewing it. I didn't get offered a review code for it, but I wasn't like into it. But like I was sitting there kind of just like every time I sign on to Twitter, I just open my phone. I'm just like, let's see what we got here. And I'd be like, oh, people are still trying to kill each other online. So yeah, it's just like, again, I don't know. It's just, I kind of get both sides of the situation, but it's one of those things where there's no interesting conversation. Everyone's rage baiting everyone, and it's just exhausting. So yeah, I just like that we have a community here. Like, we'll have the tough conversations, of course. That's what I'm here to do. But there's certain games like, dude, after Veilguard, I got my fill. I got my fill of getting the shit kicked out of me by everyone on the line. I'm just like, you know what? I have the option to not be involved in this. Say less, dude. Say less, dude. Like, I already went through it with my Veilguard preview and interviews and all that. I was like, I just, getting the shit kicked out of you that often. It's like, I can deal with it, but if I got the option for a game that doesn't even fit the mold of my channel, that just not getting that conversation, in that case, it's like, I don't need to. I don't want to. I don't care. I'm not going to play the game. I'm going to go focus on RPGs. Cool. Sounds good to me. Twitter calls you the anti-AI guy. They're not wrong, Z-Bat. They're not wrong. I have more nuance than that, but if they want to say that, sure. The worst things to be called. Don't worry, I'll rage bait you to get that feeling on streams. Perfect. Perfect. Piss me off. Hit me with your best shot. Oh, my pleasure, Palmers. I just saw your message. Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm glad you guys look forward to them. I look forward to them, too. I apologize that the schedule's been a little bit, like, moving beneath our feet here, sliding around a little bit. I think it's going to be like that through June just because I have a lot of travel planned. But I'm just happy we're consistently doing it and hanging out. That's been nice. John, what's going on, bro? Welcome. Don't put me on the spot. I will, bro. Don't test me. Anti-AI guy is a good title. That's what I'm saying. Like, I take anti-AI guy like as a roast over like I'm trying to think of like the charming ones I've got over the years. Okay, I got a couple. Bethesda shill, very very common one for most of my career. Don't really deal with it as much nowadays because people started to realize like, oh, he does call them out. Don't really have to fight off that anymore. Xbox fanboy is hilarious. I'm just like, oh my god, bro. So, PlayStation fanboy, I get those two all the time, depending on what my take on a subject is. Like, if I say something anti-Xbox, it's because Colin Moriarty is whispering in my ear how I should feel about things, and vice versa. Like, when I'm saying something about PlayStation that's negative, it's because I got a Defining Duke Xbox podcast, and it's just like, man, that guy he's got to drive attention to that of like, oh, dude, I wish I Galaxy Brained my content as much as you guys thought I did. It'd be so much more fun that way, I think. Mr. Matty plays with himself. That's a good one. That's a really good one. That one always gets a little laugh out of me. Just changing Mr. Matty plays to all sorts of, I'll just say rhymes. That always gets a little bit of a laugh out of me. But I would definitely take anti-AI guy. I'm like, okay. Damn, that hurt. Oh, please don't say that. How do you get called a pony when you're on half a Defining Duke? I get called a pony because, so what happens is usually like the Xbox hardcore community that like wants you to live and breathe it. What happens is they say to you like, well, you work for a guy who runs the biggest PlayStation podcast in Summon Sign, and because I'm good friends with Colin, the assumption is that Colin is in my ear telling me how to feel about things, which is the funniest shit of all time. I'm like, Colin's a very good friend of mine, and like we talk often, but like not about like games, you know, it's what's so funny about it. I'm just like, yeah, I think this guy's like the fucking shadow broker, and he's like just whispering in my ear like how to move out there, like hit on Xbox a little bit. Yeah, like, go ahead. Like, we need the bump. It's like, dude, our shows do really great. Like, we don't need anyone's grifter bump. But yeah, that's how I get called a Sony fanboy, is because I work with Colin, and so people think by association. Yeah, Z-Bat got it. Yep, Z-Bat got it. Yep, that's another one I see that gives me a good laugh online for sure. Yeah. Let's see here. Potato Radio, appreciate you, bro. When you do play disco, take your time and see as much as you can. It's my favorite piece of art. It's got so much heart. You will laugh and cry. Oh, peak. Okay. I didn't hear the cry part. I've heard this game's funny. But, so here's the thing, Potato. Here's the thing, man. I've got it in my Switch right now. I could fire it up right now. I could. But it's like I'm reviewing some things right now. I'm very excited about that stuff I'm reviewing. It's like this is what happens, bro. There's just too much. It's too much. It's way too much. And it's all good and it's all exciting and it's all happening while I'm an adult. That's the thing. Like, my parents had the opportunity to grow up with like great media and live their lives. Now it's like, yo, check out this video, this movie, this book, this game, this indie project, because now indies can reach everywhere. Check out this announcement, this piece of technology. It's like, I'm crashing out, bro. Everything's fucking awesome. Like, fuck. It's killing me. So I want to play disco. I really do. I want to. It's like on the calendar for this year. It's like, I just don't know when. I don't know when. Chris the Killer said, do you see the Transformer games taking up 8 of the 10 slots on the fan back compat site? Are these games amazing or something? Did I miss out? Chris, got you, bro. Hang on. Actually, what am I doing? I mean, look. Chris, there are these 2 games here. Hold on, Mike is blocking it. These 2 games right here. War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron. I always cross them up. These 2 are like Call of Duty campaigns, except they're Transformers games. There's also, I'm sure, no, I think that game's available on PS4. It is. Transformers Devastation is also awesome. I'm not a big Transformers fan, but I could just show you a little bit of our Retro Rebound video on it. Retro Rebound Transformers. Let's see here. So, okay, I only have 1 video on Transformers. Let me get rid of the super chat. God, this looks messy. Okay, let me mute. 31-minute video. Okay. Let's skip ahead here, because I go through all the games in this video here. So this is like the original movie game. Here, you know what I'll do? Hang on, I got an idea. Okay, there we go. This is like an open world game. It's kind of cool. Revenge of the Fallen was another movie game. Very hub-based. It was all right. I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of it. It's like all mission-based. All right, but the games I was telling you about, War for Cybertron. As you can see, this is like right here, most replay. Like most people were looking for this in the video. Yeah, so get ready, because, like, I mean, the presentation is good. Like, that was awesome right there alone. Let's skip ahead a little bit. Oh, there I am, Gary. There I am. Okay, I'm going through. Okay, here we go. You can see a little bit of, like, it's a third-person shooter. It's a little bit Gears of War-ish as well. Fall of Cybertron is much better in my opinion, but like, yeah, you can see here, you can turn into the vehicle and like get around the environment. Oh, there I am looking at the manual. It had really good multiplayer as well. And then let's get to the worst Transformers game. Why does it say Battle for Cybertron? Anyway. Let's see here. Skip through. Oh, yeah. Like these cutscenes. You said music's on point. What music's playing? Is it still my... It's still my Skyrim stuff, right? I can hear it. Hold on. Oh, it is. Oh, yeah. It's just going hard. Holy shit. I was like, why is it so loud? Is it? That's not... Okay, it's not too loud. All right. Anyway, let's just keep going here. The whole background is killing me. Yeah, we've evolved a little bit. We did good. You can see here a little bit more of the vehicle gameplay and sort of like why it was pretty special in that way. It's very Call of Duty campaign like the you know, like they're screaming, they're like explosions are happening. It's very like high production value is why I think it resonated with people. So yeah, it was just like the ultimate Transformers experience for a lot of people. And then, yeah, here you go. Here's some good gameplay. And it just had, unironically, great multiplayer. That was the other thing that I think just specifically with this game stood out. So just, yeah, very memorable video games. Even if you weren't a Transformers fan, you had to try these. They were like original stories. You can see the frame rate's not good. I was playing this on PS3 to capture some footage. But definitely if they re-release this. Oh, yeah, I had like great shoulder swapping. That was also cool. But if they re-release this, I think it would do really well. I think they'll eventually do it. So yeah, that's why those Transformers games were so successful, and clearly being voted upon, because it's just like they're awesome. And again, I say that as like a non-Transformers head. Let me catch up on some of the super chats here. John said he'd invite you to Spawncast. Where are you at, G? When he messages me, bro. When he messages me, I'll join. Don't worry, I'll join. He's got to pick the right Saturday, though, to be honest. I think they record on Saturdays, and that's always a little tough for me. I think that's why sometimes I couldn't make Spawncast. But, yeah, like, I obviously, I love John. I would be more than happy to do that. So, if he hits me up, I'll be there. Provided it's the right weekend. These next couple of Saturdays are going to be busy. My Mays are always busy. It's like Mother's Day, wife's birthday, brother's birthday, niece birthday, graduation season, games coming out. So always it's always a complete shit show in May for me. I'm surprised I have it all together here. Could this go down as one of the greatest years ever with the amount of amazing shows, movies, and games all releasing in 2026? Yeah, like, it's the thing why I see people dooming, and I'm just like, I get it in some regard. Like, there's important, serious conversations to have, but I'm like, dude, we've had it so good this year. It's unbelievable that people are spending their time, like, being so pissed off. Because, again, like, I look at, like, the year Capcom's having. I'm like, oh, 2 Game of the Year contenders in, like, the first half of the year. Oh, gaming sucks. Yeah, so, I mean, that Project Hail Mary was excellent. Hoppers was underrated, if we're talking movies. Yeah, like, I've been enjoying The Boys' final season, personally. You know, I think that's been really good. So, I know some people have had complaints. I heard the last episode wasn't great, so there's a lot that's got to happen in one episode. I think that one final episode is going to probably be, like, long. We'll see. But I've been enjoying it. Certainly hasn't felt like I've wasted my time on this ride. But yeah, dude, it's been just a good year of entertainment personally. Yeah, Aaron's right. We just need a Persona announcement. Oh, I haven't seen Mortal Kombat 2 yet. No, that's one I want to see pretty soon. There's a lot of movies I think I've missed recently. Like, I was checking my AMC app earlier, and I saw, like, what movies came out that I missed? I haven't seen Mario Galaxy. That's what it was. I was about to check. It was Mario Galaxy. I haven't seen Mario Galaxy yet. I don't know. I'm not, like, in a rush to. It feels like gaming's gone downhill, but if you look at games that are released every single year, we're getting better and better games. Exactly. The difference is it's who's providing it. The people that have formed core gaming memories for us, you know, in my case, Bethesda, Xbox, went in, like, wildly different directions. And you'd hope with the noise surrounding them that they'll learn their lessons. But, like, AI has also really, I think, upticked that. Because, again, it's a lot of our heroes. Like, I have no doubt indies are going to come in and for the next at least 3 years be the star, the example of what it should be like. I have no doubt about that. But I think right now with AI and how, like, AAA is trying to find a way to do it cheaper and more frequently, while also tricking the player a bit, it's a bit of an ultra processed and organic food situation. It's like eventually there are these 2 items on the store shelves. They're the same exact looking thing. Here's your bananas. These are organic. They're a little bit more money. Here's these bananas, ultra processed. Which do you want? Which do you care about? Do you not give a fuck? Go ahead. Get the bananas that got sprayed with a ton of chemicals and shit. Go ahead. You'll be fine. Sure. Oh, you care about that stuff? Okay, get organic. I think we're heading there. But I think that's why people doom about gaming. Well, I doom about certain things. I'm not saying I'm not dooming about things, because, like, I definitely doom about, like, the AI shit all the time. Like, I look at DLSS 5 and I see, like, a gaming hero of mine, like Todd Howard, standing there as, like, the champion of it. And I'm like, are you fucking... Like, it's one thing if you put out a text quote You know, like, here's our written blog post from Todd Howard, and it's clearly, like, been checked by PR a million times. It's not really him writing it. But when he's like, hey, we think it looks really amazing, like, it's like a cruel fucking twisted joke, bro. So, yeah, that shit'll make me doom, but I'm still having so much fun playing games that it's like, gaming itself isn't bad, but maybe I'm more worried about our leaders. Patty's the type of guy to buy that processed banana. No, dude, I'm the organic foods guy. For sure. For sure. I'm hearing a lot of good things, Goalie, about the Mortal Kombat movie. You said the first one's absolute shit compared to the sequel. Wow is all I can say. That's awesome. So it sounds like I need to hurry up and get out there. Gavin, thank you for your super chat. I also agree. I don't think games have gone downhill. I just think they take so long to make and they can't ever live up to the hype when we used to get trilogies of games in a generation cycle. Yeah, and that's why I think AI is like everything that these big companies are chasing, because they see the opportunity to just spit out content and try to keep up. I also agree with this because I think the reason we don't get attached to things as heavily nowadays is because, you know, right now we hear the standard development cycle is 5 to 6 years. Pardon me. Sorry. Think of where you were 5 to 6 years ago. For me, I was 25 and I was just playing Persona 5 Royal and like starting my journey in game development and learning more about that. Here I am now. I'm in a house now. Like, my life has dramatically changed in that span of time. And then think about, let me get specific dates here. I'll use one of my favorite series. Hold on, I just want to get the dates right. I was thinking about this earlier, so it's funny it comes up. Okay. And then 3. Okay, perfect. So I have my dates right. So then I think about something like Sly Cooper, right? Walk with me here. All right, let me get rid of the super chat for just a moment. Walk with me here, right? Let me move my screen a little bit. Okay. First game, 2002, right? Second game, 2 years later, 2004. 1 year later, third game. All that happened in a 3-year span. So I was, oh boy, we're getting to that point in my age. I was 7 when the first Sly came out. And by the time it was done, I was 10. Your life changes. Like, I'm in a new grade. I'm in 5th grade. Life is great. I'm at the top of the school. But I had that. And it was a consistent thing during a period of my life. You know? Like, that is what is missing. I'm attached to Sly Cooper because it was there. It was playable. It was beatable as well, which is something a lot of games struggle with nowadays, is they spend so long because they're trying to consume all of your time so that you can't play and do all these other things. So you can't squeeze them in, so it dominates you. Where, again, this was a beatable video game. But again, 3 games in 3 years, effectively, is pretty crazy. So I know it's Sly Cooper, but there's examples like, here, let's do a more high-profile one a generation later, sticking with PlayStation. Actually, no, let's go to Xbox, to be fair. Okay, let me get my search history going here. This is a little bit more extreme, but I think it still gets the point across. Okay, walk with me. Walk with me. Here we are again, Gears of War. 2006, first game. Xbox 360, launch year. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. Okay. 2 years later, follow-up. Follow-up significantly better, by the way. 2 years. So you didn't have to miss Gears of War. As you were probably replaying or finishing up Gears and a couple other things, here comes the sequel. You missed it, but just enough. And hey, 3 years is the most you had to wait. 2011, here comes Gears of War 3, and it's phenomenal. So, again, like, that's okay. Let's do Matty math again. Gears of War 1 comes out in 2006. At this point, I am 11 years old. I did not play Gears when I was 11. Gears of War took, let's see here, math again, 5 years. 5 years to complete its trilogy. Like, and that's amazing. So by the time I was 11, I was 5. You know, like, again, I'm 16 now. Like, I'm in a I'm in high school, but I'm not in like, but the story is done and I'm still in like a same decade, you know, is what I'm trying to get at here. So again, I feel that's what we're getting away from. And that's why people are so jaded about some new shit, is because you know, when you see a High Guard or something like that, or I guess Concord would be an example, like PlayStation put money in that, you know, the amount of time and money that went into that one thing for so long, and that to get that started back up again for the thing you want, it's going to be another half decade before that one game ships. And I just showed you examples of like trilogy shipping in 5 years. So yeah, here you go. Turtle Deity. Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, Kingdom Hearts 1 were all between 97 and 2002. It's another great example. Opinion on Sony needing more family games. They only got Astrobot and maybe Sackboy. Kids build the base. Existing base is also getting old. Yeah, I mean, that's why I've always fought for Sly Cooper. They keep games like Ratchet around. They're still making new Ratchet games. Astrobot is a big one. But that's why Crash was super important, because I think what happened is gaming has evolved as a medium where it's like an art form, and that's great, and we have incredible stories here. But what we've sort of lost in all of that is that a lot of us got into it when we were kids because like gaming was also viewed as a toy, right? Gaming before it grew into the respected artistic medium was just a toy. But still, like for kids, like it's kind of viewed that way, and you need to give them fun little things to do that aren't shitty freemium games. Like you got to give them quality experiences. You know, the good old tie-in games that I got as a kid. A lot of trauma with that, but you get the point. So yeah, Sly Cooper coming back, Jack and Daxter coming back would be huge. Crash is obviously very important. The list goes on. Like mascot platformers are huge. I mean, that's why I'm looking at my original Xbox. They tried to have their own. Xbox is like, yo, I got one for you, Voodoo Vince. How about that? But for real, like that's where my man, the ultimate cat in gaming, Blinks the Time Sweeper. It's where he came into the mix. I'm trying to think of others. Fable. Yeah, just like, man. They do need a little bit more, I think. You know, it's important to focus on the hardcore gamer, but I think some kid-friendly stuff is... They do it art style-wise, and I don't think it appeals to kids in the way they think they do. So... Skyrim soundtrack makes me emotional. I'm so sorry. I'm glad you're getting emotional in the chat, though, Joshua. Thank you for supporting the stream, bro. The thing is, kids today don't give a fuck about small single-player games like Sly. They all play Fortnite or Roblox, making all the devs chase that trend. If there was a new Sly, zero modern kids would play, sadly. I don't want to hear that cheese pizza rat. You speaking this rationale. I think it's a slow builder. Like, just like we started with, like, phones don't play games. Phones can't bring kids into gaming. And it started to do that. Like, we have to nurture it and make it a place. Like, I think about the theater experience. The theaters are dead. The theaters aren't going to come back after COVID, but like people are pouring into the theaters because it's the way you consume movies. It's not just streaming services. People are placing value on the human experience of being in the room with other people and enjoying that experience together, getting your bucket of popcorn, your drink, all that stuff. Like it is an experience, and that is more valuable than the ease of access. So I agree with what you're saying, but also with certain actions we're doing now, you're training generations too. Is how I view things, you know, and I don't think it's a simple undo button, and it may not work out, but I don't think it means it shouldn't be pursued in the way Astrobot was like very accessible to all ranges, and Sly Cooper could be the same thing. And who brings the games to the kids, but the adults, right? My dad showed me IGN when I was a kid, and that's how I found a bunch of games. But like, I had a best friend who had a cousin who lived around the corner, and he was an adult, and he was showing us things like Mega Man X Command Mission. He had a library that he'd lend to my friend, and he would then lend to me. So it starts with adults too at the same time, and you got to give them like quality kid-friendly experiences. That's why do you think all these kids are buying Pokemon, Mario, Zelda? Because like parents know these are like definitive kid experiences. You know, like, this is going to be great for the kid because it's like a toy. It's a fun, simple, understandable thing. Like that's the brand image. PlayStation still has a little bit of that with Astrobot, but they need to get back to that a bit, and I think they have the IP to do it. Good writing, though. Good counterpoint. Good challenge. I appreciate that. What's going on, Noctis? Good to see you, man. Chalamet hates the theater? Really? If that's true, that's crazy. Yeah, Ryan Schwartz is right. There's a reason Mario Kart has sold a bazillion copies. Kids still like these kinds of games. Yeah, I think it's just like, again, if it's high quality enough, I mean, most parents who game or know they have kids who are into games look for like the obvious stuff, and Nintendo happens to be a major producer of it, and they show that there's a range for that. Like, I'm playing Smash Bros. I love Smash Bros. I love cursing at my friends while I play Smash Bros. But also, when I was a kid and I saw Smash Bros, I was like, oh, look at all my favorite characters. Pikachu's in this game? Cool. Done deal. Done deal. So I think Nintendo's got it on lock. I think Xbox has the IP if they care about it, and then PlayStation. So I get the whole, like, yeah, bring them in with free-to-play stuff, but these free-to-play games get zero traction because they're shitty, and then the adults don't bring these kids to free-to-play games, especially because you can't even gift them. That's the other thing. You can't gift them to kids. I was gifted things like Sly 2 by my parents. You know, they came home from Circuit City, and they gifted it to me. That, like, it's a thing you hand them. That's the other thing that makes it feel like a toy, something they cherish, something they create a memory with. He does not. He was just saying theater isn't popular with kids today. Fuck. That's the other thing. These fucking kids will learn. These kids will learn. They'll adapt. They're adaptable. Look at the climate they're growing up in. They'll figure it out. They got to be more adaptable than us. Any new thoughts on Fallout remakes and remasters? Nothing really. I mean, we haven't had any news whatsoever. So it's been quiet on the Bethesda front, which has been a little bit interesting. I'm keeping my eyes peeled, but ever since the action figure update, we've got nothing on Fallout 3. My hope is that we will get like a Fallout 3 remaster announcement by the end of this year on Fallout Day. But otherwise, like, I hope with the push for Fallout that they're maybe looking to do like Fallout 1 and 2 re-release, kind of like what Beamdog did with Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I know it wasn't perfect and they could have done a lot better, but just the idea of like those games being available on modern hardware would be sick. Yeah, see, all I do is said it perfectly in chat. I'm not going to finish the rest of your name. Text your child a V-Bucks e-gift card, crying emoji. It's like, yeah, dude, like, what the fuck? There's no fucking sincerity in that. There's no memory in that. Don't get me started. Loving your kids is treating them to good games. If you love your kids, you're not going to say, oh, just get on the Fortnite, bucko. It's like, yeah, that's literally feeding them slop, in my opinion. But I'm not going to tell people how to parent. Let me answer the super chat. We'll get into our next bit of news here. Did you see the leaked images of Xbox's new cloud gaming controller? It looks like a Wii Pro controller. I did. Let me bring this shit up. Hold on. Xbox cloud gaming controller. Okay, here we go. Okay, look at this shit, dude. What is this fucking dinky ass thing, dog? Are you serious right now? This is the... Man. They were doing so well. This looks like a controller that you would find at like the dollar store where they pretend to be a video game console. You know, it's like a plug and play type console. This is the controller it would come with. Right? This is what it would come with. They'd be like, yep, there it is. That's what it looks like to me, dude. This looks horrendous. I'm not even like a big controller guy. Like, oh, you gotta look really awesome. But hang on, there were other. Let me get up the rest of the images here. Engadget might have. Okay, yeah, Engadget's got better. Here's another look at it. Say I have a black version. It just looks awful. I got nothing else to add. It just looks awful. Thank you for your write-in. W for the long stream, by the way. Saw it go live almost 3 hours ago at work and thought I'd miss it. Oh, my pleasure, dude. Yeah, I mean, I like to sit and hang and chat more than just read the news. And, like, I try not to make it where it's like, let's just hit the slop and go. Like, you know, I like to hang. I like to chat. I like to connect. That's important. I think it's fun. So, yeah, my pleasure, dude. No need to thank me. Let me make sure everything is oriented here. We're about to go over GTA stuff here. Okay, cool. Oh, that actually frames perfectly. Nicely done, Matty. Yeah, we're gonna go through it all, chat. We're gonna go through it all, including little teaser there. All right, let's do some slop. Let me get a sip of water here. Please feel free to drop the meat in the chat. I meant like the emoji. I gotta stop, bro. It's getting bad. I'm pausing everyone. It's getting really bad here. Meet in chat, please. Thank you. Okay, let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't say today is about slop. We're talking about Grand Theft Auto 6. This is the game that you have all been waiting for, myself included. And we've been ramping up a little bit of our conversation on it because the comments are very nice the first time we talked about GTA 6. I went, who cares about my opinion? A lot of people were saying, I do. So I'm here to talk about GTA 6 with you all once more. This time, we're talking about a pre-order date, which has leaked. And if that is happening, given that we were already anticipating a trailer for GTA 6 because the earnings calls are coming up for Take-Two. Usually when that happens, we get something new for GTA. It feels like everything's timing out just right. So we're going to go through the pre-order date leak on top of some things that Take-Two has been saying and experiencing thanks to this pre-order date leak and get into all the fun surrounding GTA. So ladies and gentlemen, let's dive in. First and foremost, let's go to Insider Gaming, where they say GTA 6 pre-order date has been leaked via Best Buy. And this is why Best Buy is the GOAT, man. That's where I do all my new game shopping. Best Buy is always holding it down with the leaks. They were originally doing those limited steelbooks. Remember when they went through that wave? Whereas like if you pre-order at Best Buy, we'll send you an exclusive steelbook. I think they still kind of do that, but not as much. That was awesome though. And now here they are giving us our much needed GTA 6 news, which seems to be arriving on a Monday. Okay. So let's read. GTA 6 pre-orders are supposedly set to go live next week starting May 18th, 2026, as a Best Buy email has leaked when you can place your pre-order. Plenty of people have seen the email online, but Insider Gaming has since received the email and we can independently verify that it is real. Sent out to affiliates, the email reveals the campaign is for none other than the highly anticipated Grand Theft Auto 6, with pre-orders set to begin May 18th, 5 months before the game's November 19th release date. If pre-orders were to go live, it could very well rule out fears of another delay, which I can't believe I glazed over that fact. It's like if they're starting to take money, and we'll get into why also this is kind of lining up with things they've said before, that this is probably going to prevent any sort of delays. Again, they say Insider Gaming has been able to verify that the email received by affiliates is legitimate by having two individual affiliates forward us directly the emails. The emails originate from Impact, one of the leading affiliate partner marketplaces. If you have an Impact account and have signed up to the affiliate offers from Best Buy, it's possible that you have also received an email from notifications at app.impact.com. Then we were getting updates for the GTA alerts, which I'll show you in a little bit. The pre-order news has come once again. It's got fans speculating online about the highly rumored Trailer 3, which could be right around the corner, which is a lot of what I'm focusing on now because I want to see the game again, watch them place the date proudly, go pre-order it now, that sort of thing. And it means that this trailer could also be like pretty significant, pretty huge. Now, as for the leaked pre-order date, you'll see here on Project Vice on Twitter, they posted this here from the Best Buy affiliate team that you can see up here in the top left. Again, appimpact.com. It has the pre-order date, which again, physical game. We already got confirmation they weren't walking away from that, but a lot of people were saying that GTA 6 won't be physical to prevent leaks, but they're going for it. You can see the duration, and it begins May 18th, right where my mouse is. And so I look at that and go, okay, so it looks like it's actually turning out to be real. Now people are reacting to this, and by people, I mean investors. We see here again on Insider Gaming, Take-Two adds nearly $2 billion in value as GTA 6 pre-order rumors circulate online. If you are like not considering how big this game is going to be, like just start wrapping your head around the capital B that continues to surround this game. Like $1 billion spent on development, $2 billion in value added. Like they are just like this game is going to crash gaming stores for a while. I think a lot of games releasing around GTA 6, the reason they're delaying is not just because of like, oh, we can't compete. It's because no one will be able to buy your game. If we saw what happened with Hollow Knight, Silksong, and how storefronts crashed then, do you think GTA 6 will be any different? Physical copies, people are going to be fighting in the streets for these things. I actually think it's going to be legit madness. Okay, let's read. Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be the biggest game launch of all time, and just the idea of being able to pre-order the game has stock prices soaring. After reports of GTA 6 pre-orders going live on May 18th, thanks to what appears to be an early email from an affiliate partner marketplace, the stock of Take-Two publisher Interactive has risen nearly 5% on Thursday. As of writing, Take-Two Interactive stock prices jumped by $10.79 per share to $237.78. That jump added nearly $2 billion in market value to the company in just a matter of hours. While prices are expected to fall slightly throughout the day's trading, it's clear that the excitement surrounding the upcoming game is reaching a fever pitch even in the stock market. Take-Two Interactive's next earning call is scheduled for Thursday, May 21st. That's when the company will announce its full forecast for the upcoming fiscal year, which includes GTA 6, which is why, again, people have been assuming a trailer is coming up. Originally, it was just knowing the earnings call is coming soon. That's usually when a new GTA 6 trailer drops. You combine that with pre-orders going live on Monday. I think you can lock it in. Trailer's probably going to drop on a Monday. Although, when we saw like all the leaks happening, like here comes Rockstar and they just dropped the trailer out of nowhere. So they don't have to wait for any type of event. They don't care about Summer Games Fest. Like they don't care about Game Awards. They don't care about Xbox Showcase, any of that stuff. None of it matters. They can do it whenever they want. And so it looks like Monday is the day. Another reason why this seems plausible with everything happening, right? Pre-order date leaking. Does this mean a new trailer? Well, it's in line with something that Take-Two said before there was any real fever pitch type buzz, which I guess has been sustaining for a while. We get my point. Like people losing their minds with some theories that we'll talk about. They did tell us that GTA 6 marketing would kick off this summer. Grand Theft Auto 6's November 19th, 2026 release date is drawing nearer. And while the game has now suffered multiple delays, Take-Two Interactive is starting to sound more confident than ever than we heard them that this time it's really happening. So confident, in fact, it's announced that Rockstar will be spinning up its marketing beats this summer, which to me, I saw that and I went, well, you kind of got to lock it in there. If you're going to start marketing it, if you're going to start pouring resources into like telling people about the game, it's probably because it's coming out soon. This comes from Take-Two's Q3 2026 earnings results, which were just released. In those earnings, Take-Two reaffirms that GTA 6 is indeed still planned for November 19th, 2026. That on its own would be exciting after news of two separate delays, but even better is the sentence at the bottom of the release sent to IGN, quote, "Our execution throughout fiscal 2026 has been extraordinary, and we are highly confident as we approach fiscal year 27, which promises to be groundbreaking for Take-Two and the entire entertainment industry, led by the November 19th release of GTA 6, with Rockstar's launch marketing set to begin this summer." So again, this sounds really confident. And so IGN actually spoke to Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick about this, and they said this, "I feel very good about it. Very, very good about it." So there you go. He also did say at one point he felt very good about it, but again, a lot of things are aligning. Stars are aligning here. It looks like they're actually going to release it this year. And that's why you're seeing a lot of games move up. Like the reason September is starting to get packed, we have right now, Wolverine. We're seeing rumors now of Gears of War E-Day dropping in September because they had that Triple Mania wrestling event leak where they were attached to it, and usually wrestling events promoting stuff is launching within that same month because it's kind of like burst market promotion. So you throw that into the mix in September. I already brought Blood Up Dawnwalker, Wolverine, and then there's another PlayStation game I always forget the name of, Phantom Blade Zero, I think it is. And that's just those games. I'm sure there are going to be more in September already. So it's packed there. Everyone's packing in as late/early as they can, like getting in that kind of fall-ish season, that autumn season where people are starting to spend more as the holidays approach because they know GTA 6 is going to gobble up everyone's money. So people are making moves, which I think started to lock it in more. But again, this is lining up with what they said. This summer is going to kick off marketing. They're confident about it. Now we're seeing pre-order dates. We're seeing, again, money being invested, which doesn't really indicate anything other than excitement, which is why I just wanted to solidify, like, this is going to be massive. But people are going insane about this, so much so that I had to show you this one here. This comes from Reddit. I spent 3 months charting planetary positions for every Rockstar trailer drop since 2007. Trailer 3 is dropping Thursday, May 14th, 2026 at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I'll explain. Which, I mean, like, you're not super far off here. But they literally break down here, like, the planetary sign occupancy across 26 Rockstar reveal events. And they have a full breakdown. I'm like, this is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. That you have aligned, again, the GTA trailer predictions. I guess they kind of got it right. The news hit with where the stars literally aligned. So I just thought this was hilarious. They did right here. I pulled the exact UTC timestamp of all 26 confirmed Rockstar reveal events from GTA 4 onward, every trailer, gameplay video, launch trailer, and ran the geocentric eclectic longitudes for all 9 classical bodies at each drop. Spreadsheet got pretty out of hand. Pluto, like, look at this. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. This is brain rot at its finest here. Pluto was in Sagittarius for 24 of 26 drops. Neptune has been in Pisces for 19 of them. The sun was in Libra, Scorpio, or Taurus for 58% of the time, when the random would give you 25%. The Mercury-Sun conjunction within 8 degrees showed up on 8 of 26 drops, which is a third of the sample for a configuration that occurs roughly 11% of the time in any given year. Charts are attached, methodology, and comments if anyone wants to verify. Like, this is the length people are going to kind of narrow down when this trailer is dropping. So this new trailer would really do a lot for the community. They're hungry. They need more. They need security. They need a little security blanket here. So I just thought that was hilarious and I had to share it. But just at the end of the day, again, pre-order dates, they're live, soon. Probably means the trailer's coming. I imagine those two sync up pretty nicely. Start spending your money. And we get to watch the games market crash in a literal sense, as in like storefronts are going to crash. But yep, get ready. Hold on to your butts. Here comes GTA 6. Chat, I want to hear from you on how you're feeling about GTA 6, the brain rot theories, but also what's going on with this pre-order date, and how confident are you that GTA 6 is coming out this year? Lock it in down below. Let me get this video over to Emmett in the meantime. The GTA 6 pre-order leak, we'll call it. Bro, no way, bro said Sagittarius. I don't know shit about star systems, bro. I'm going to keep it real. I'm not going to act like I know. You can bro me all you want. I can admit my idiocy, though. That's for sure. I have no idea. Let's look it up. Sagittarius. Let's see how you pronounce this. Hang on. Hold on. Let's see here. Does Julian Miguel have the answer for us? Let's see what the likes to dislikes on this are. All right. It's time to get educated here. Turn this up. Okay. Here we go. Let's see how badly I fucked this up.
Zodiac sign. Name pronunciation. It's also a mythological creature. American English versus British English pronunciation. UK. Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. I was reading it like Bob Saget. Sagittarius. Sagittarius.
American English pronunciation. US. Sagittarius.
Wow. Good thing I'm a Cancer. Thank you for the correction. I needed that. Sagittarius. Add that one to the dictionary. Bob Sagittarius. I was scared I would be wrong somehow. No, you're good, bro. I say I would have lost respect for. Is there something? Okay, I'm sorry. Is there something wrong with this word? I don't know if there's something. I've seen a lot of people be like, yeah, it would be kind of bad if you knew it though. So I'm sorry. I'm saying something. I hope I'm not saying anything bad. I don't know if I should Google this. So I'm just gonna let chat fill me in. I'm gonna do a little social trust fall here. Anyway, star signs in GTA 6, they line up, don't they? Let me put these back. I forgot to put these back. Okay. Now, do you think Fallout Remaster gets shadow dropped at Summer Games Fest? I don't think so at all, my friend. I don't think so at all. Crunch must be insane right over at Rockstar. You got to wonder, they spent so much money on it. Do you think they're crunching? Like, I mean, they got to be to make something that good, but like at the same time, they've had so long and so much money. I know money doesn't solve everything, but like you got the manpower, you got the best talent in the world, you'd imagine. Basically endless time. I mean, you got to just hit your deadlines and your milestones, which is a whole other challenge, but I hope they're not crunching hard with just how much time they've been given. It's like, holy shit. Let me get the music back up and running. I hate those pronunciation videos. They always take so long to get to the word. Yeah, someone made a business off that. Someone woke up one day and said, I'm going to teach people how to pronounce words. Do I think Gears of Ide will launch on PS5? Yeah. Yeah, like I would say so. I feel like multi-plat's the wave right now for Xbox. I don't think they're going to pivot hardcore against that because at least according to Jez Corden's report that like they don't have the ability to produce more series consoles. It's like just limiting the amount of money you can make on something to serve a base. Is that really smart when it's going to be a while because of like AI and how it's gobbling up all the hardware you need to make your system to sell more, to make exclusivity worth it, because people usually buy hardware to play your exclusive software. So if they can't buy your hardware because it's not readily available because you can't make it, then I don't think you make Gears E-Day exclusive. I don't think you make anything exclusive for a while, frankly, with that information in mind. My pleasure, Soul Within. Welcome. Get cozy. You got a good stream waiting for you here. Now, if the Fallout 3 Remaster has come out this year, would that replace Lego Batman as your most hyped game of the year? I don't know. Remasters and remakes are really exciting. I will say Oblivion Remaster took a little bit of the wind out of my sails. They didn't support it as long as I thought they would. They didn't do quality of life as often as I thought they would. Visually, I thought it looked spectacular. I like the original Oblivion a little bit more, but like I think they're kind of, you know, two different approaches, and I really like it. Just Lego Batman just fits all of these things that I love. Like I miss free flow combat. I love Batman. I love open world. I love Legos. I love Lego games. It's more like Fallout 3 Remaster is just like finally, bro. Holy shit! Like, but I'm sure like if I see it, it looks excellent. Like the thing that I'm forgetting, I'm out of pocket right now. The thing I'm forgetting is I don't know what it's like to be excited for a single player Fallout game because the last time I had that was over a decade ago. I remember that very well, but I'm saying like I don't remember like last time I saw a new Fallout experience. I was like, oh, it's 76. Like, okay, like this is when Bethesda wasn't kind of cooked for a lot of people. It was like, okay, let's see where this goes. Oh, it's different. Like, is it co-op Fallout? Like Fallout 4, but with friends? Like, oh, that sounds interesting. And they're like, oh, there's no NPCs. It's like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? So, you know, if it's like, you know, traditional Fallout, I'm sure that overtakes everything at a certain point. But I also do prioritize new experiences. Like Fallout 3 will be probably one of my most played games whenever that remake does drop, or remaster, I'm sorry. When it does drop, yeah, I'll be playing the shit out of that. But like in terms of like most excited, it's usually like new stuff, you know? When am I doing Summer Games Fest predictions? Looking at the calendar, I usually go the week before or the week of. I like to do the week of because I like to do the week before because I like to lock in actual predictions before the leaks really pick up. Because sometimes it's cheating. It's like, you know, here's what to expect, and it's all the leaks. I like to do a little mix. Obviously, you have to consider the leaks in the conversation. Zensha, welcome back. Good to see you. Good to see you, Maddie. Do you think Matt Booty got a lot of unfair criticism during the Phil and Sarah era? In the FTC leaks, he was the one trying the hardest to stay exclusive. No, because he's still responsible for Xbox Game Studios. That was still his job position, and a lot of the games that shipped under his watch were not good. Like, he should have been someone all over Redfall and either making that better or canceling it. Something like Halo Infinite was under his watch as well. Disaster. 343 in general, under his watch as well. The worst decision imaginable. Again, Minecraft was like instrumental. That's like, I think that's kind of carrying him. Certainly I like his competitive spirit from what I read. I mean, the whole outspend Sony out of business is a little fucking crazy. I think it's like, don't get too carried away, pal. But, with Matt Booty, I don't think he's absolved at all. So I opened the door like this when I talked about on Duke, because we did have this conversation topic come up, it was Summon Sign. It was like a level of like, I'm open to just like, I don't want to fucking dislike people. It's not like I dislike Matt Booty. I'm sure he's a fucking awesome guy. Just like from the perspective of making the brand great, it's like, I don't want to dislike him in his position. I would like to sit here and be like, dude, Matt Booty, awesome job. Like Xbox games are really turning it around. And, they've been shipping. It looks like this year they're finally going to start shipping some more Game of the Year quality stuff. They certainly have the name recognition for that, where it's like, here comes Gears, here comes Fable, Forza Horizon. Like, I'm not going to throw Halo in the mix. It used to have Cloud. It doesn't anymore. So yeah, I'm not doing revisionist history on Matt Booty. And frankly, my opinion on Phil and Sarah is like completely soured as, again, executives, not as people. But yeah, for me, Matt Booty is still like, his ability to hold on to his job and get promoted is kind of crazy when you think about it. Potato says you should try to do an in-person podcast with Jake Baldino. I think he might be there. That'd be sick. Yeah, dude. Jake's a busy guy, though. I try not to. I love Jake. I love Ralph. Like, Lucy's also really cool. They're all awesome people. Try not to bother them much, though. They're like all like super, like, up to their ears and shit constantly. So am I, but like they're like in the industry fully. Like, they're at events constantly and that sort of stuff. I'm not really in that life. So I try not to bother them too often. Obviously, always happy to collab with them. But yeah, like, definitely if it's something we can swing in person, like, that's making memories. Like, that's the shit I miss from E3. So yeah, I'm super pumped to just get out there finally. But if I could collab with Jake, dude, always. It was just cool to, in a sense, collab with Jake at the Switch 2 event. We were just together like most of that. We had a good time. Racing in Mario Kart, Jake was really good he was weirdly good at Mario Kart, is how I described it. Weirdly fucking good at Mario Kart. And then like, he was not just like good, but he was like fucking like smoking everyone. I thought I was good at Mario Kart, but like, this guy was fucking incredible. But then I was really weirdly good at Drag X Drive. I made like a game-winning or game-ending shot in slow motion. It was awesome. So yeah, anyway, the Switch 2 event with him was fun. But yeah, collabs, I like when they're natural. We get together every year, which is already awesome. So I'm happy with where we're at. I miss Layman Gaming Samurai. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was so cool. They had something really awesome there. Yeah, Layman Gaming was so good. So good. So entertaining. They had that good chemistry because they were brothers and stuff. That was awesome, man. I loved that. Let's see here. I'm debating this next story here because we have a video coming up on Exodus, and I have it here on the Matty Slop list. But it probably makes... I'm trying to think of what I want to do with this. I think I might just do it on Slop. We already have the Matty video made. Yeah, okay. Ignore me. Ignore me, chat. Thinking out loud. Let's do it. Let me grab this real quick for y'all. Sluggy, I'm not going to play Subnautica 2. I never even played the first one. I think this is an early access game as well, which, you know, usually is to me a turnoff, not because it's like bad or anything like that. But to me, like the, you know, with what's it called? Early access, like in many early access games, like I think Hades 2 launched in early access and it was like better than most games that year. Like that's just a reality. But for me, I just like to wait for the finished product. It just works out really well for me. What's my take on Danhausen? I think he's funny. He's perfect for WWE. I don't think he fit well in AEW. I think he's a perfect fit in WWE. Very like kid friendly, funny. Like just giving him like a run at some point would be hilarious. Like yeah, he's great. I really like Danhausen. Aaron Paul getting cast in Fallout is such a full circle moment for real. Yeah, he I put out a tweet about that. Shit did fucking crazy. Like, where is it? Look at this thing, man. I'm not important. Like, what is this? 39K? What the fuck? That's crazy, dude. And he's got so little replies. It's just like a meme thing. But yeah, Aaron Paul went to the New Vegas launch party, for those who don't know. And these are pictures of him at it. And it's just like, it's just all come full circle. Like, okie dokie. Sounds good. There were already rumors of him joining the show last year when he was at the premiere. So, yeah, just like made sense when they announced he was going to be there. Retro Rebound on the Star Wars Jedi games. Sean, I have one on Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. It's like a 20-plus minute episode. So you can check that out. Otherwise, we have a lot of Star Wars stuff on what's it called? On Retro Rebound. A lot. I've kind of cooled it on Star Wars because like I feel like a lot of excitement surrounding Star Wars has just died right now. So it's just not like normally like with Mandalorian and Grogu coming out, I'd be like, oh shit, like, you know, time to gear up something for Retro Rebound for Star Wars. But I'm like, I don't really give a fuck. I don't think most people give a fuck. This movie's probably going to flop. So, yeah. You see him as a Wastelander or in the Enclave? I think the Enclave. I think he's going to be part of the Enclave for sure. If it's anything like, I forgot the name of the guy who showed up as a part of the Brotherhood of Steel. But yeah, he like, I thought he'd be present for a while, you know? I'll just put it that way. So I don't know if Aaron Paul's going to be like a mainstay or what, but I kind of view it as that. Let's do our last bit of slop here. It's kind of a more focused slop because it's really just one article we're going to go through and kind of talk through here. Let me get the recording going here. Can't wait to see you tackle Jedi 3, but you're right. It'll be a rough time in them. Oh, when someone said Star Wars Jedi games, you probably meant Jedi Survivor and Jedi. What's wrong with me today? Holy shit. Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor. Sorry, my brain's like, when you said Retro Rebound, like, I thought you were talking about, like, these games, like Star Wars Jedi Outcast. You know, this is what, Jedi Knight 2? Yeah, and then Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. Sorry. You probably meant the Star Wars Jedi Survivor Fallen Order. Yeah. Those would be good Retro Rebound episodes, especially Star Wars. Jedi Survivor in 2026 would go kind of hard around Mandalorian Grogu because it's like, man, dude, like that game is so, I feel like it got hurt by its launch, understandably so, but it's so good. And just being able to talk about that again would be awesome all these years later with like all the updates in mind. But I got so much 007 and Lego content planned that I just want to go in on. So I might sit for a little bit on that. But yeah, those old games were awesome. So are the Star Wars Jedi games, like the new ones. Anyway, apologies for the confusion on that. All right, let's get into this next bit of Matty Slop. Let me turn off the music. All right, let's do this. We're moving quick now. Watch out. I guess because we had so few stories, we could just sit here and shoot the breeze. All right, let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about BioWare. And now, Archetype Entertainment. So, BioWare had legendary talent during the early 2000s, as we all know, because they produced the greatest game of all time, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. So, like, yeah, dude, that Jade Empire, Mass Effect 1, Dragon Age Origins, you know the list. Baldur's Gate 2, of course. Like, you know the list. Some incredible talent there. Over the years, a lot of BioWare talent has left the studio and gone to form their own ventures. We saw Casey Hudson recently announced Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic at Argonaut Studios, and he's gathered up a lot of ex-BioWare talent there, as we just learned very recently. And they're being funded by Greater Than Games, and like they're not doing AI. Like, oh, it's all sounding good there, but like Mac Walters left BioWare recently. He was kind of the project director for Mass Effect Legendary Edition, but also a long-term BioWare player, and he left and formed his own team to make his own Mass Effect light game. That lost funding. Like, there's been a lot of ex-BioWare talent to go out and do their own thing, but one that seems to be finding a level of success was James Olin, who left and he formed Archetype Entertainment. He did this alongside Hasbro and basically pitched what is described as D&D in space. And so this is originally, being James Olin, the lead designer of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Again, another major player. He was able to recruit other ex-BioWare talent like Drew Karpyshyn, who was the lead writer of Mass Effect, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Like, okay, I'm sold. He was the lead writer of that game. He was brought on for Exodus. So Exodus has been really exciting in the lead up to its launch. However, there was only one stumble. It had nothing to really do with what we saw with the game, which has continued to look awesome. It's with the change in leadership. To catch you all up a little bit, at the end of last year, and I'm talking like mid-December, we learned that James Olin was stepping down from Archetype leadership. This was concerning for a number of reasons. One, we've heard that Hasbro has gotten involved in not the best of ways, and we heard their kind of dicey relationship through whispers in the industry mainly. No exact reports from what I can tell online, but that Larian and Hasbro seem to not have the best relationship, where it made Larian's choice very easy to go on from Baldur's Gate 3 and go make Divinity, which is crazy when you think about it. Like, of course you should make Baldur's Gate 3 DLC or an expansion or Baldur's Gate 4, but they chose to work on their own thing and get away from a company like Hasbro and focus on themselves, right? So again, when we saw Hasbro leadership speaking for James Olin, this was a bit concerning, but he ended up putting out a comment on why he was leaving January 2nd, which we're going to read over here and now. And then what we're going to do next is take a look at this article here from PC Gamer, which is the most recent interview with James Olin on why he left Exodus mid-development and what happened with his time at BioWare with EA and what made him leave that as well. So it's a really interesting read, a really interesting post-mortem, but I want to start off with what he said here on Twitter versus what he's saying in the article, because it doesn't, I'm admittedly, like, I'm not trying to look for the negativity, but I'm admittedly like looking for that moment where like James is kind of saying like, not sure about Exodus, but at the same time, like Jesse Sky is still at Archetype. Chad Robertson's still there. Drew Karpyshyn's still there. Like, no one else has left except James. So I believe what he says here, which is there's been some speculation about me stepping down at as the studio. Let me restart that. I can barely fucking read right now. There has been some speculation about me stepping down as studio head of Archetype. That decision was one I made last summer. While Hasbro would have preferred I stay, the departure was amicable and fully supported, and I remain on good terms with everyone involved. After more than 6 years building Archetype and leading a AAA project while balancing both creative and business responsibilities, I reached a point where stepping back made sense. Burnout is not unusual in this industry, and it felt like the right moment for new leadership to guide the project forward. Exodus is in a good place, guided by creative leaders I have worked with and trusted for decades, including Jesse Sky, with whom I originally founded Archetype. Right now, I am focusing on what I enjoy most, story and world building. I am developing new worlds through my own company, Arcanum Worlds, and I have a couple of upcoming books funded by Hasbro that I'm excited to share more soon. So we saw this in, again, a little bit of an eyebrow raise, like you left, but at the same time, you were out of game development post BioWare and you said you weren't coming back, but then this brought you in. It was like a dream opportunity, dream game, dream studio, and then you ended up leaving it. Why is that? Well, PC Gamer's recent interview has the answer, and I just wanted to read through this all with y'all and kind of go through what led him to this decision. He says, my son always says I look like a supervillain, James Olin said as he puffed his cigar on his porch in Austin, Texas. It's one of the many bad habits that I picked up when I was doing the job. I was always told I should never be the head of a studio because it'll kill me. And it nearly killed me. It was 6 years of nearly killing me. It's like, whoa, okay, intense start here. But he gets into both his burnout with Archetype, expanding on his thoughts from what he shared on Twitter, as well as what we've got from BioWare and like how things ended there. So let's get to reading. When he left Archetype, he hinted in a burnout post, or hinted at burnout in a Twitter post. Now he tells me that being both the head of the studio and creative lead on its debut game, the sci-fi RPG Exodus, was simply too much. Quote, I was running on fumes and it was hurting my health and my personal life and everything. I just needed to step away. As a creative, you care about everything so much. And then as the head of the studio, you have to be cutting the baby in half all the time and having people attack your vision constantly. I definitely wouldn't put myself in that situation again. That's not a healthy place to be. He's slowly recovering and building what he lightheartedly calls his book empire. He's upbeat during our conversation, laughing hard and often as he recalls what were clearly difficult times, but he says he'll need more time before he's ready to make games again. Let's pause there. He does veer back into Archetype here and kind of what's going on with Exodus, but that was kind of the main comment I wanted to hook on and talk about before we get into his history with BioWare, which I also found very interesting here. Now, when he says like as a creative, you care about everything so much, like I very deeply relate to this, you know, like for me, I'm basically doing at a very small level what James was doing at Archetype on a huge level. Right now, like in the case of our project, we don't have a publisher. It's just us and a small team of about 8 people in total. And I have to manage both the creative and the business side of things. And even that is incredibly taxing. I've definitely noticed my health declined a little bit in doing this because you're always stressed and you always are managing egos alongside, just getting the creative vision across, timelines. Like there's a whole management job, project management, and then there is literally the creative part of it. So I very much sympathize with this because it is very validating and certain people are cut out for it, I would say. And I don't mean this as an insult to James. It seems like he would agree. Certain people are cut out for it. Others are not. I like being in the thick of things. I like leading from the trenches. I don't want to just sit back and be like, do this, this, and that, and that's it. I love being involved. So I really love just the process of game development, but it is definitely like, again, I haven't shipped anything. So people shouldn't take everything I say like, oh my God, like he knows for sure. But it's definitely like coming from a point of experience. I see this and I get it. I get why he'd want to step back, especially 6 years. It's a long time on any project. Again, very relatable. Just like development can go on long, especially when you're a new studio. There's just small problems that you learn through playtesting that you have to account for, and you're always adjusting, iterating. There's the level of like, can we make this better? How much can we push this while spending money? Because in his case, the thing I can't relate to and that I don't understand because I haven't been there yet is working with a publisher, working with executive overhead and how much space you actually get in that situation. If you read articles about like, say, Expedition 33 and Guillaume Broche talking about working with Kepler, they sound like the ideal publisher. Here's the money. Do your thing. How can we help? How can we make this better? This is like Guillaume was trying to find creative ways around the project to keep it small. And they were like, no, we got to make this better and bigger. And that's what a publisher's supposed to be there for, to make your project like actually better, not just to extract money from you. You know, that's before getting into things like when you're pitching a project, like the splits that you get are oftentimes not favorable to the people who actually make the games. But I digress. You know, we have situations where publishers can be great, but again, you have someone like James Olin who's stuck between these two forces, right? The never-ending opposing executive force who just wants money and progress, and then the creative side of things where everyone's like, you're managing egos, you're managing output, and you're kind of the guy responsible for it all as a studio head. So I do get this and why he'd want to bail out and just focus on the things he can control, which are books, and go at his pace and smoke his cigar on his porch. He talks a little bit about his time at BioWare as well, which was, again, really interesting to me. It's not his first career break. He says that he didn't give himself enough time to completely recover after leaving BioWare in 2018, and that towards the end of his tenure there, overseeing the MMO Star Wars: The Old Republic, he felt like a highly paid, completely useless person. I'm sure there's a lot of people who love to be in that position. And he also describes for the first time the moment that marked the beginning of the end for him at BioWare, which we've never learned this before, when EA's board crushed his plan for rebooting the MMO as Star Wars The New Republic. How about that? Olin joined BioWare in 1996, a year after its founding, and was lead designer for both Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Crunch wasn't mandatory, but Olin felt as the creative lead, he should work the hardest. I lived in my apartment complex for more than a year, and I can't even remember my room or anything because I would just go there, sleep, and then wake up and go straight to work, he says. But 100-hour work weeks didn't feel grueling, he says. In a small team, he made big decisions, but also was directly writing and scripting in a way that he wouldn't get to on later, bigger projects. That's because the last time I was truly in love with my job, that's just the last time I was truly in love with my job. Again, this is something that's a little bit relatable to our personal situation because we actually recently just brought on a developer who worked in AAA, and one of the main reasons he had reached out to me and kind of I hate to use the term applied because we don't have like a website, it's not like a traditional hiring practice or anything like that, but he had reached out to me because basically AAA is going in this direction where it's so big and you're so useless and you're kind of a cog in the machine, and a lot of these AAA devs are now fleeing the scene to indie because they want to have impact. They want to feel like they're making a difference. And in indie, you can feel it. Like this person has shown up and made a difference. So again, you can really feel that sort of stuff. And that wasn't the way it was when I first started this. When I first started this, like there was someone I tried to get for concept art and they're like, yeah, for a month, it'll be 10K. It's like, I don't fucking got, okay, Jesus. But now it's like, no, I want to play ball. I'm passionate. I want to be a core member. That's kind of the difference in the vibe nowadays from what I'm noticing with AAA. So again, definitely something I'm reading here that I relate to where it's like, the 100-hour weeks, I'm not saying we work fucking 100-hour weeks, good Lord, but it definitely is relatable in that, like that sort of desire to have an impact, and that sometimes when you're loving what you're doing, you just kind of like don't even think much about it. He came out looking like a cave troll, but also calling himself a successful video game designer. As BioWare grew, he oversaw more and more people as lead designer on Neverwinter Nights, Star Wars Knights of the Republic, and then Dragon Age Origins. He says, on Baldur's Gate, I was writing and scripting, I could do it all. But on Knights of the Republic, I had several technical designers that were much better with tools. So I was more divorced from the hands-on stuff, which is what most developers just want to do. They just want to make shit, dude. They just want, hand me the tools and let me make shit. The biggest change, however, arrived with the Old Republic. Halfway through development of Dragon Age Origins, BioWare founders Ray Muz... Actually, I don't think I've ever learned how to pronounce their names. Ray and Greg, just to keep it professional and fair and nice, called Olin to their office and asked whether he could oversee a new studio making MMOs in Austin. And I was like, I hate massive multiplayer games, but all right, I'll do it. It took me a day. I talked to my wife and said, it'll be an adventure. We'll only be there for a year. I'm still here. Maybe I should have known better. He accepted the challenge and stuck it out, partly due to loyalty to these two. He says he felt it was his duty to do as good a job as possible. So his loyalty kind of got used against him, is sort of how it feels to me. Suddenly, he was overseeing a never-ending project made by hundreds of people where the main role was empowering others and making sure big ego designers didn't kill each other. It would become the most expensive video game ever made, with costs running into the hundreds of millions of dollars. He spoke about his regret at making an MMO akin to World of Warcraft in space, rather than his original vision of an online Knights of the Old Republic. At launch, it was a sprawling, diluted 200 hours into 8 origin storylines. A 60-hour game with fewer focused narratives would have landed cleaner and more distinctive, he said. I'm not just someone who can manage hundreds and hundreds of people to go in a different direction. Everyone who wants to build WoW in space, and it's my job. It's my job to say, no, we're making something different, and I wasn't able to do that. So this is interesting that like he had a whole different direction for SWTOR, which is an MMO I really like. Like it kind of found its place in the market for me because so many MMOs have like great stories. Like I've heard Final Fantasy 14 has a great story. It takes like a lot of investment to get there. I think SWTOR is very much immediately paying on your investment. Like you're getting good stories, good presentation, the cutscenes, choice and consequences there, which is cool. Like it's awesome. I really love SWTOR. So it's kind of found itself in this distinct area when it has its least amount of support, which is also a bit of a shame. He says, not for the lack of trying, around 2015, he brewed a plan for a complete reboot. It would be called Star Wars The New Republic. He spent roughly 6 months compiling a basic design document, PowerPoints explaining the game, and a mock-up trailer from Blur Studio, the visual effects company. It was the chance to do Knights of the Republic online. It was a chance to put right everything I'd said we'd messed up. And again, I see this and I'm like, dude, just make KOTOR 3. What are we doing here? Just make KOTOR 3. You're killing me here. This is pretty cool, though. He says he convinced Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy and met several times with Dave Filoni, a director at Lucasfilm, including on Star Wars The Clone Wars animated series. He was like, if you can set it a couple hundred years before the fall of the Republic, we could have a tie-in. I remember I got super excited because the big challenge was Patrick Soderlund, who I think is great, but hates Star Wars The Old Republic. And I convinced him. It was one of my greatest accomplishments of my career. But his joy soon withered. We were going to have Star Wars The New Republic until the board of directors at EA, who all remembered the launch of Star Wars The Old Republic and remembered spending $300 million. They're like, why the fuck are we going to spend a bunch more? There was no case, no chance to plead his case at all, no debate, just a big fat no. He understood the rationale, but it was discouraging, he says, and made him realize at some point, I'm probably just going to have to get out of here. That was the beginning of the end for me. The only way you could get through life is by having empathy for everybody, including people that are causing you pain. I was thinking of it through the lens of EA, and I'm like, there's no way I'm ever going to win this. It just doesn't make sense to me to empower someone like me. So if I was there, I can't fucking read today. Let's try that again. That was the beginning. You guys get to see the live slop for real before Emmett cuts all this out. That was the beginning of the end for me. The only way you could get through life is by having empathy for everybody, including people that are causing you pain. I was thinking of it through the lens of EA, and I'm like, there's no way I'm ever going to win this. It just doesn't make sense to empower someone like me. If I was there, I wouldn't. So I got to get out. It just is not for me. It wasn't the only thing nudging him towards the door, they say. He doesn't criticize EA. He says it was no worse than any big corporate bureaucracy and that it wanted BioWare to succeed. But he says the departures of BioWare founders in 2012 removed the giant shit shields protecting him and other developers. And he realized that I wasn't going to make any single player RPGs ever again. And in a sense, he's not wrong because like they'd go on to make Anthem. They'd go on to make Veilguard, which was multiplayer. And of course, Inquisition was not the traditional, as much as I have love for parts of Inquisition, wasn't like a traditional BioWare RPG where it was at some point going to end. You think of the Hinterlands and like nothing ever ended. Interestingly, though, James Olin says, towards the end of his time at BioWare, he began to feel powerless, unable to enact change, like I was literally providing no value anymore. I would tell people I'm actually a highly paid, completely useless person. It's just that everyone thinks I'm super useful because of my reputation. No one seems to be able to tell except me. There's research that shows when you just feel like you're not accomplishing anything, it's actually the biggest thing to bring burnout, he says. My wife was like, but you could have written it out. Don't lots of execs do that? And I'm like, I know, but they're not creatives. They enjoy the politics, and I don't blame them, but that's not what I like. So what we learned here is, again, the follow-up to SWTOR was Star Wars The New Republic. You got the sign-off from Dave Filoni on it, got the pitch over to EA, you convinced Soderlund, who was totally against Old Republic, and then everyone said no, and then we realized from that point that with the BioWare founders out, the original vision is gone. James Olin has to deal with a bunch of bullshit, and so he just pieces out on top of that because he's like, I'm only going to be making online games, and we see BioWare having to course correct where eventually they confirmed Veilguard would be a single player game. But when we play Veilguard, if you dared to play Veilguard, all 1.5 million of you, you would learn that Dragon Age of Veilguard felt very much like an old multiplayer game. You know, you could feel the remnants of that package there. So then we move ahead back to Archetype with Exodus. If you had such a bad experience there and you were like, I don't want to do the politics, why would you ever become a studio head? He answers that. When he launched Archetype Entertainment in 2019 as a subsidiary of Wizards of the Coast itself, part of Hasbro, he was hiring developers from AAA teams and paying good salaries, so he always knew he was making a large game. He says, maybe I fooled myself. I fooled myself that I wouldn't be dying inside, but yeah, it was just too much. As the studio head, he was dealing with people, creatives, dealing with artists, engineers, and writers, and producers, and the publisher, and everything, he says. Simultaneously, he was creative director on Exodus itself, an ambitious, big-budget RPG. You're trying to manage all sorts of different personalities and people and groups and organizations, and then there's the pressure cooker of being on a big-budget title. So again, the pressure of money, like I was talking about earlier. One painful example was the contract negotiations with the author, Peter Hamilton, who Olin greatly admires. Hamilton is consulting on Exodus and has also written the expanded universe novel Exodus, the Archimedes Engine, which is like 900 pages, by the way. It's huge. Discussions that should have taken months stretched into a year. That nearly killed me, Olin says. It ended up with 3 different groups all trying to negotiate a contract, and only one of them seemed to want to get it to the finish line. I was taking calls at like 11 p.m. He then pauses, then laughs. When it finally got signed, of course, my team said, well, why do we have to use Peter Hamilton stuff? And I was like, I'm going to kill you all. So now it starts to become a problem of like, we want to make creative decisions as a team. We have this book over here that we have to use because we worked so hard to get it through the door. And now the team's like, well, why do we have to use this at all? And it's like, dude, do you realize what this did to me? So there was negotiations, just being the studio head, being involved in that. Like, you need to be there for those things. There's no doubt about it. You are the ambassador for your own team. He says he also failed to hire a hotshot executive producer who could be his own personal shit shield in the way that the BioWare founders had been over there. Hasbro, like EA, is a large company that Olin sometimes struggled to navigate. He even felt compelled to text CEO Chris Cox from time to time to push things through, because it sounds like from what we read recently about what Chris said on Exodus, that it's shaping up really well. And they're really happy with it. But like, if he's on board and there's a ton of middle management in between that James has to fight through, some things are going to get blocked by those leaders. He says, it was one of the only ways I could see to get things done sometimes. It's not because people were being deliberately bad. I was just, I have a lot of things on my plate. Why am I going to do this thing? Ultimately, he's concluded that he's simply not like all the people I know that have headed up studios because they love it and I hate it. And he's vowed to listen to his old self when it comes to knowing his limitations here. So, again, I don't think it spells any type of disaster for Exodus. Again, I'm looking for the trouble. I'm looking for the stuff where I'm like, okay, this looks really bad for the game. It sounds pretty common. But when I see like all of the gameplay clips that they're putting out on Exodus, I'm not looking at it going, oh, this looks terrible. The writing seems pretty good from at least the dialogue preview we got. It looks a little overly linear and confined. That's my biggest critique. We have yet to see the interstellar and space gimmick. But it doesn't seem like he walked away, although I don't know if he'd actually be allowed to say it. It doesn't look like he walked away because he's like, this thing's a shit show. It just seems like, again, like he's a great leader, a great creator, or I should say, he's a great leader, an even better creator, and he values that in himself most. And so that's why he's off writing books. And he even says here, the cycle will continue. He says, at various points, his books might be a jumping off point for video games. He knows that young, hotshot developers he'd love to work with, and that he's received multiple job offers. I'm actually quite open with them. You probably don't want me right now, but that'll change. I'm sure I'll get bamboozled into starting another video game studio and all the pain that comes with it. So he'll probably come back to video games at some point. But again, the point here is when I'm really looking at Exodus, I don't look at it go bleak. I definitely wish he was involved. And I think that's why Hasbro want him involved, because he's a great designer. But it seems like what he identified is kind of what we see happen with Todd Howard, right? Todd is an excellent game designer. If anything, from Morrowind all the way up to Skyrim was anything to go by. But as Todd started to make more money, he moved up the corporate ladder and started to do more business stuff alongside creative stuff. And you can't have your cake and eat it too, while middle management was handling a lot of their games. And we can feel from Fallout 4 and on how that is gone. And that when Todd is more heavily involved in something, I'm not saying it's guaranteed to be good, but that I think he still got the touch. And that basically being at the top of the ladder here takes you out of all of that. So it just reminded me a little bit of that story here. Definitely something worth keeping an eye on. Of course, we don't know if Exodus will be excellent until it comes out. They do have a planned extended gameplay preview dropping this summer. So we'll see how things go there. But definitely really crossing my fingers that game turns out well. Either that or expands. One of them has to be good. But thought this was a very interesting read on what's going on with BioWare, or former BioWare dev, but now former Archetype Entertainment dev, James Olin, who is one of my idols, because this man designed my favorite game of all time. Chad, I'm looking forward to seeing your thoughts on this one. How are we feeling about what Mr. Olin had to share in this very long read that we did of the PC Gamer article? Sounds like the guy's in the wrong industry. A little bit, yeah. I think that's why he's writing books now. I think it's a little bit of that. Yeah, just like wrong industry. Great person, great worker, but like he probably needs to work on a small team is what he needs to do, in my opinion. Okay, what was today's... get this up and then send this all off to Emmett. Turn on the music here. There we go. Back in business. And then let me get James Olin over to Emmett, and we are good on the slop for the day, and we can just round things out here and chat a little bit more. Okay, perfect. Perfecto. Rip SWTOR on console. Yeah, man, God, I fucking wish. We call him up, Matty. Can you imagine? Hey, James, I heard you're looking for something very, very small scale. I got something for you. Palmer's asked, Matty, what's it felt like to see your own game actually in front of you? I mean, it feels great when everything's clicking together. There are definitely stretches where it's particularly like grueling because, you know, we're a new team and we've not shipped before. So there's a level of like, I've had to learn very painful, expensive lessons. And so have, minus the expensive part because everyone gets paid for it. But like other people have had to learn lessons. And so every milestone you learn a ton of lessons about your own project, and it's kind of like developing into its own being where you understand like what works and what doesn't. But it's when it comes together and it's like all moving in the right direction. Like, I mean, you're never at a point from what people I've spoken to and just like my own experience where like everything is moving along exactly as you want. Like it's never perfect, but it feels good when everyone's showing up with deliverables and you see like what the clear next step is. From like a management point of view, that's exciting. And as a creative point of view, dude, there's nothing more satisfying than like writing your own story and just seeing it like be shot and creating those cutscenes, in engine. Like that's a really, really cool feeling. So, yeah, like thank you for asking. It's awesome though. Yeah, Death Proof bringing up SWTOR on console is like another point. It's like, man, dude. Why? I know why. They've said like technically they can't, but man, if there's a will, there's a way. You should have figured it out. Like this game could have got a good second wind. I'm just waiting for one day to get like the tweet, just like we're taking this game offline. It's gotta be a little bit of a bummer. Now we're kind of rounding out the slop here. Let me shut off the lights. I'm gonna look very dim here. I'm gonna look like half dead, but these lights are bright. The sooner I get them off, the better. Sounds like he didn't have the freedom he needed. Yeah, maybe a little bit of that. But also, I think he just doesn't... I think I put it this way. If this guy's got a tool set in front of him and he knows he can build content, it probably pains him to hand it over to people. And then he's like, today I'm going to make this quest line. But instead, today he's meeting with the writing team, consulting on what an engineer needs. And then like his day's over. And it's like, okay, tomorrow I'll do that. But tomorrow I have a meeting with Hasbro. Like, that's where the management can take over. That's the plan, Trace Wolves, but at the same time, when the game launches, it's like time to also dial it up a bit. Like you got to be there for post-launch support and like make sure the game's going well for everybody. So I've talked to a couple of devs of sort of like what to expect for post-launch and like the plans they had, and how like in some cases, like they've had great successes and they're like the plan changes like completely. Like it's chaos for a moment because you're like, oh shit, we got to hang around. We got to figure some stuff out here. So do you have any ideas what platforms your game is releasing on? Yeah, at least PC. We haven't gotten to console yet because I have limited resources right now. So it's just like I want it to come to consoles because for me, my thought process is like I've spent alongside this team a long time on this. It would feel really foolish to just put this out to like one audience. So I would like to just reach as many people as possible. Just so when I like talk about it in videos and I signal boost it and updates come to the game, it's like, and by the way, I don't mean like updates as a live service. I just mean if there are like news to share or anything like that, it's available everywhere, So, yeah, I'm at least I know for sure PC, console stuff is a little bit more hazy right now because right now we're just focused on making the game first before we hit other platforms. What roles am I taking on? My official my official position / terms would be creative director and studio head. But I build the cutscenes, I build the quests, I do lighting. I do a little, like, and when I say a little, I mean a little level design, because, you know, when tools are ready, like when processes are done, then it's easier to build. So that kind of falls into content building. Writing, I do a shit ton of writing. And then, yeah, a lot of managing. A lot of managing. Oh, yeah, that's the plant potato. Yeah, I want to, like, definitely tell you guys about the process of making the game and, like, share the game with you all. Like, yeah, that's a big part of it, is like just kind of getting people, like, I think the important part of our game right now in this very small window is, like, you have a line to me, and I think that is really valuable in today's day and age, where there's, like, a lot of, what's the term I'm looking for, people disenfranchised with teams. Like, I think having someone to connect to that, like, you have an established trust with, and you know their tastes and you know their values and you know where they're not going to budge on things, and, like, having that public accountability of, like, I have a catalog of videos, and sure, my mind can change on things, sure, but, like, you know, AI is a great example. It's like, we're not using AI for our game at all. And it's like, there's a public accountability too. It's not like I can be like some of these devs where maybe they're at first, like, talking to each other, like, fuck that, we're not gonna fucking use AI, and then, like, the tools get put in front of them, and it's like no one's holding them publicly accountable. There's no, like, list of videos like mine. So I think that line's really important. So I definitely want to make content, though, just talking about the game, showing updates. Like, I have a vision in mind for that stuff. Could it come to Helix if what Xbox is saying about making a PC version is true? Yeah, technically it could. Yeah, technically it could. What about Game Pass? Might get a nice bag. Game Pass is something I would like to do. But the big problem with it is that they only seem to support now games that are done. They don't support devs like us who have not shipped yet and are in development, and a lot of those funds would be used for development fees, which is what I was kind of more interested in, is like, I would just pay that off and that would be really helpful. They're not interested in that anymore because they're not trying to net people to the service. They're like, we're established and we're going to get good content that's done, so we know what we're actually adding to our service, so we can plan for that. So Game Pass would be cool. Definitely something I'm interested in. You know, I haven't done the logistics on it of just like, are we fucking putting a bullet in our game? But I also look at Sea of Stars is like a big inspiration for us. Like, indie game. It was on PS Plus. It was on Xbox Game Pass, and it still sold, like, how many copies of that shit sell? I think I updated that. Sea of Stars sold like 250,000. Let's see here. Yeah, 250,000 in its first week, and it was on both subscription services. That's crazy. Crazy. It says here as well that it turned out to be 7 times more successful than its creators expected, which is just like, that's life-changing shit. You can't plan around that, but that is life-changing shit. I do want to try Mina the Hollower out. Yeah, Hmon, I absolutely do. 100%. I think that'd be fun to cover on Retro Rebound as well. It's just a matter of, like, time. Just a lot of games I got to play right now. In fact, I got to go play one in a little bit here. I'm going to get dinner, and I'm going to play a little something for the rest of the night. But I am very excited for Mina the Hollower, and I'm really pulling for Yacht Club. I know this game, like, is really, really important for them. Like, they've got to succeed with it because it seems like the future of their company's on the line with it. Zbat asked, are you guys doing planned DLC? Sorry if you've already answered this. Right now, like, I can't really say because we want to finish the game first, and, like, I don't like the idea of leaving stuff on the cutting room floor. If I can give you guys the most, like, bang for your buck, that's what I want to do. Free updates and stuff, like, you don't really figure that out until later, so I got no good answer for you on that one. But definitely would be cool. Have you done any work with music yet? Yes, plenty. Our music's fucking awesome. I love our fucking music, dude. We've done some really cool, unique things. I'm very happy with where the music's at. Anyway, guys, let me split at this point. It's been 3 hours, so we've hung for a while here, but I'm starving. As you can tell, I'm fading. All right. This has been a lot of fun, though. Thank you guys for tuning in. I don't think we'll have another stream for the rest of the week, so we'll be back next week. Next week, I am traveling. So I'm looking here. I am traveling on a Tuesday, coming back on a Thursday. So, yeah, just taking a look at things here. If I'm lucky, I'm streaming on Monday, but you might get another one. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe a 1-stream, 2-stream week. I'll figure it out, but just keep it locked here. I'll let you guys know. But in the meantime, thanks for being here. This has been a lot of fun. Appreciate you tuning in for the slop. And here's that GTA trailer next week. I think that should be a good time. But until then, y'all, peace out. Have a great weekend when Friday hits tomorrow and the weekend actually begins. Don't worry, I'm actually not still a day ahead anymore. But appreciate you all. We'll talk real soon, all right? Peace out.